Somehow my mic was muted. Greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Want to remind everybody, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. There's a PayPal link down there for anybody who wants to share some love. Every little bit is appreciated. And of course, the StreamYard link is there for anybody who wants to join the panel. We're going to go on with the authority to say what you want. The tradition of teaching our children the insanity that we grow up in to raise more Karens and Kens. So we're going to take a look at some of this. And the first one we got is from the Hodge twins. So let's check them out. Insane standoff. Mom calls police on 7- and 9-year-old sons armed with a handgun.
Yeah, got a new show for y'all. Got a damn good show. All right, so these two kids has got a gun. So the parents, instead of going up to the kids and getting the guns from them, they call the cops. Man, these got to be the worst parents. First of all, they shouldn't have access to the guns. Okay. And if it did get access to guns, have the courage to take the guns away. Why don't you call the cops? All the cops going to do is come and shoot and kill your kids. No.
You understand the premise here? We got children that have the audacity to handle a gun, knowing exactly what it is and how dangerous it is. Watch this video. These kids, these little boys understand how dangerous this gun is. Who are the parents that are raising these two boys? How do we get to this stage where we're indoctrinating our children so much so that they're becoming criminal in behavior at this age?
Well, these parents know these kids. They think these kids going to kill them. Why else would you do that? They're not aware of what's going on. Oh, this kid's totally aware of what they're doing. They know they got a gun. And the reason why these parents don't go up to these kids, because maybe we don't know the backstory. Maybe mom and dad say, hey, go to your room and do your homework. Hey, do it now. The kid's like, no, I had enough of this. I'm going to go in and get that gun where mom and dad keep their gun at. Came out and said, you know what? I ain't doing shit. How you know that? That's crazy. How you know that didn't happen? So yeah. So you saying the kid went to the room doing the gun? Now it made me do more. I mean, if I was dumb enough to leave my kids, I think they're like 7, 8 years old.
Yeah. And 7, 8 years old, that begs the question, how young do we put children in places like juvenile hall? How young do we recognize behavior like this to have to actually step forward and do something like this or do something about it before something like this happens? It's an indoctrination of behaviors that we should be able to recognize and know that they need to be corrected and have a better way of correcting them than letting people of the same candor raise children like that. So it begs the question, is society actually working? Is it progressing? If the collective of the individual bodies of families are digressing, how can society be progressing?
My kids, yeah, personally, I would go, hey, Josh, Dana, what y'all doing? Put that gun down. Put that gun down. The cops gonna come. The cops gonna come. They get here. They're gonna kill you. I mean, that's what I would do. That's what they're gonna come kill you. Yeah, you better put that gun down. They're gonna kill you. They're gonna blow your brains out. Y'all.
Yeah, see, the parents know these children, and they know that they lack in disciplinary skills, and that these kids are taking over, and they allow it. This is why we have to take that family unit back and all those responsibilities, folks.
Black too? Oh, they ain't gonna ask no questions. They're gonna blow your brains out.
Man, shut up, man.
No, that's
I
what
think-
I would do as a parent. I wouldn't involve the
That's like,
but these white parents know these white kids, and these kids are crazy. That's worst case scenario.
Now, I'm not saying kids with guns are criminals. What I'm saying is these two kids with that gun acted like criminals. So, you know, being raised with guns and knowing how to use them appropriately is one thing. These kids were obviously raised around a gun, but the parents didn't know how to use it appropriately and certainly didn't know how to lock it up appropriately. So that the young heathens that these two boys are, obviously, and again, it's not their fault, but it makes them, you know, allows them to behave in criminal manners without correction. That's the problem.
I'm thinking the parents are bad. They left the guns out. There's these access and they're playing with it because they think it's a toy. You think these kids are that sinister? Yeah. All right, let's play the video. The parents
He's
called.
wearing Minecraft in pajamas. Look, what the cops gonna do?
They're gonna light them up.
And that's another perspective I don't think a lot of people look at is the video game interplay into these children's lives. You know, the way that they interact in real life in accordance with the video games they play is oftentimes, conducive to how they behave in real life.
They're gonna get this. Wait a minute, we got white kids here. All right, let's call in and negotiate.
Man, come on, man. They already got the guns drawn. These are kids.
Kevin, it's a gun. It doesn't matter.
I ain't shooting no kid, man.
Oh, okay. You ain't shooting no kid. That kid starts shooting at you. You gonna stop it. What are you doing? You're gonna kill me. Boom. That kid can kill you.
And it's, you know, no matter how much these two are laughing about it, it is a serious issue. You know, two little boys with this very deadly, lethal weapon and using it in a manner as if though they know how to use it. And that is a very dangerous situation because they are young enough. They don't even understand the consequences, I don't think. Particularly if they're considering them as a video game where you can just turn it off and on and just wake up to a new session the next day.
Just like a rolling dope.
No, man, I ain't busting no cap in no kid, man.
It like I say, it interplays with the mentality in such a large part that I don't think a lot of these kids understand the reality of the consequences because they haven't really faced them yet in the real world. But in doing so in these video game worlds, it makes it seem like there's no consequences. So it changes that mentality, I think, in my opinion.
Hey, pause it. Why don't they sit in the bomb squad? You know that little robot that goes up to you? Hey, put that gun down. Put that gun down.
Yeah.
You know, a robot or something.
Yeah. You know what I would do?
What?
I'd throw some flashbangs at them. I throw about 5, 6 flashbangs at them over there in the corner. I bet she come right out there grumpy.
But you might pull the trigger.
Yeah.
It's actually a sensible idea if the kids were a little bit older and had a little more sense about them. But in these young boys like that, the fear and everything, goodness gracious, if it caused one to shoot that gun and kill kill the other or even himself. So again, it's a tense situation, very dangerous. Because nobody really knows the mentality. Where are the instances of where you have 7, 8-year-old little boys running around with a gun, threatening, you know, not going to give it back, and You got to call the police on them. But I assure you, it's going to become more and more prevalent if we don't start coming up with solutions. And we see we haven't been coming up with solutions for a long time because we have all these Karens and Kens that allow this kind of shit, that perpetrate this kind of shit. The insanity of people thinking they're special and they don't have to live by some kind of societal norm. And believe you me, the police are not a societal norm. It's a relatively new thing.
Crazy. That's probably the reason become cops. It's crazy.
It is going to be
He's got it in his hand.
Look at this kid.
Black over white.
That is nuts. He gonna shoot his kid's foot off.
Hey, girls, can you guys drop that?
You can sell physical products on Amazon and compete with thousands of other people selling products.
Man, look how big.
Yeah, and that's what I say. Look at he knows how to fire it and everything, but he doesn't know any safety about it. So even in this situation, before they throw a flashbang or anything, there's still the danger he might shoot this other kid. Look, he's pointing it right at his foot.
This kid speedy is compared to his body. The kid's name is Carlos. Hey, Carlos, can you drop that? Did you hear him? Hey, Carlos, can you drop that? Go back about 10 seconds. Oh, look at
Black over white.
watch.
Come on, guys.
And he's refusing
Hey,
to drop
girls,
it.
can you guys drop that? Come talk to me. Just go ahead and drop that.
Put it down, babe. Go ahead and put it down for me, okay?
You're not in trouble, but you got to drop that and come talk to us, all right?
If there's a
That is
magazine
nuts.
inside the
It'll
magazine
blow
well,
his hand off.
Put it
but
down, baby.
they're playing with the gun back and forth.
You
So
know
one in
what?
the blue is trying to
Yeah, you're not in trouble yet. Yeah, you are. They're already in trouble. They're not stupid. Yet you insist on lying to them. In my situation, that's one of my pet peeves is people lying to me. And like I've said, it's those that are closest to you that tend to lie to you. Need to stop it.
take it from the one in
These kids saw those cops pull up, and they got their guns drawn. They probably scared to death. That's why they hiding. Think about it. You see a bunch of cops show up with their guns drawn, looking for somebody with a gun. When a bunch of cops show up and I'm holding the gun, what am I doing? I'm dropping the gun. I'm coming out with my hands up. Yeah, but they're scared. The young kids, they don't know how to come on handle this situation. That's why they hiding right now. They white.
And
They
the
know
orange.
better.
Put it down,
They
baby.
act like
Drop
decent
it,
black
Put it
people.
down, babe. You're okay. Put it down.
And now the kid in the blue and green
Mine
has a
cry.
I
firearm.
need you to put it down, baby.
See? They're trying to hide from the cops.
Let's not do that, boy.
Hey, buddy.
Because of
Let's
fuel.
not do that. Thank you. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Can you put the gun down for me? These little black kids. Hey, mother.
And notice it's both boys involved with this because now the gun has been handed off to the other boy. And look how he's holding it behind his back. Again, watch, they have no gun safety, but they know its power. And that power transfers to them if they're holding it. But they have no concept of the real consequences.
Put the gun down, I'll blow your head off. Man, that's crazy, man. Oh, man, what a...
Talk to us. You're not in trouble.
394 Blue has
You're
it.
not in trouble. Come on
Drop
up.
for me, bud.
The one in the blue.
One of the blue and the green.
It's gonna be in his
Gonna
left
be in
hand.
his left hand. He does have his finger on the trigger right now.
Hey,
Put it
Hey,
down.
put it
Don't
down,
do
buddy.
that.
I threw about 5 flashbangs over
Boom,
there.
boom, boom, boom.
Put it down, baby.
come on. Coming up to you guys. Okay.
Eugene.
See, now he's pointing it at the other
I think
kid.
that's unsafe for a kid. Those two things are concussion grenades.
Can you lift?
You want 40 on that side?
Try to cause
No,
that
I
brain
would
damage.
want
to these kids. Oh,
Yeah, see, the one kid's right-handed, the other kid's left-handed.
Wait,
those
let's
things
try to
give
keep talking with them.
adults
Look,
concussion.
he's saying, hand the gun here, hand the gun here.
I know.
Hey, hand me the gun.
Put it down, babe.
Grenades.
Can you put it down for me so we can talk?
Now they're going to argue over who's going to hold
Can
it.
you do that for me?
Gonna blow his head off
You're
from the
doing
back.
a really
That's
good
crazy.
job right now. So if you could just put it down, I would appreciate that.
Which one's you doing?
He has the firearm upside down now. He's no longer got his finger on the trigger.
Yeah, he does.
Go
Man,
ahead,
that is
40 him.
crazy. He got
Try
his
to knock it
finger
out
on
of
the
his
trigger.
arms, and then we can move up.
You see that?
Hold on.
Yeah.
What I want you to do is I want you to hit beside them.
Okay, hit the wall.
I want you to hit the wall.
Hey, put that. Just keep it down.
Sean.
Down.
I want you to hit the wall, hit the fence.
258's gonna hit the wall.
Carlos and Sean.
Hey, you got to do what he says. I want you to hit this fence right here.
And we have Charlie speaking with these kids.
Sean. Can you put it down, babe?
Hold on a second. Give it a second. Kiddos, just drop that. And come talk to us. You're not in trouble.
Yeah, that's 10-4. We tried to talk them down. They're refusing to put
And technically, the kids may not be in trouble. Depends on the perspective, but in my perspective, you should still align it with being in trouble for the kids. But if anything, like I was mentioning earlier, where are the parents? What are the parents' responsibility? What is the predicament they're in? Are they off scot-free, or should they be taking some kind of responsibility? And it's sad to say, but this is the only reason they have the gun laws to begin with. Is because of stupidity like this. But at the same time, we have to take on that obligation and responsibility to prevent this in our children. And like I said, it's getting worse. In my eyes, I see it getting worse. And here's a good example of how worse it is getting. 7 and 8 year olds behaving criminally simply because of a knowledge of power. It doesn't matter the underlying principle, whether Keith is right about he got in trouble for not doing his homework or something, said he's done, he's not going to put up with it no more. It doesn't matter. The principle here is that they become aware of a power in something like that, and it's through our own desensitizing through these video games and stuff, allowing these kids to play these kinds of video games. We didn't have that kind of stuff when we were kids, and I'm not saying it's not something that's potentially good, but there should be an age range, and there should certainly be a known intent in being able to qualify for certain things. Like a game like Firefox is a good game to learn how to become a pilot and learn the piloting skills, if that's truly the intent. But to take upon that mind, the mentality of just the game and not the consequences without that purpose or intent other than to be a winner on a video game, and those are two distinct different concepts, and they get interplayed as if though they're the same. Greetings, brothers. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, brother.
Good. Just going over some more of the insanity. What do you guys think about these two little boys? Give me your concepts. What are the principles underlying their behavior and how they came about?
I think the little boys probably shouldn't be at fault at all. It's 100% the parents' fault. It's 100% their fault for either leaving the gun where the children can get to it, or not teaching them how dangerous guns are, or maybe a lack of discipline on the children, or where they think shit like this is okay or something. But yeah, it's certainly a failure of the parents only. I would say these are just little children.
Right, and that's why I say the degree of fault that the children play in it, they're certainly in trouble. That's regardless. Yeah. So it's a matter of teaching them about the consequences and not punishing them. The parents are long past the stage that they should have known better and should have had consequences. And if not, then it's certainly time for the consequences, and they may be in the form of punishment.
If I may,
yeah,
I'd probably take that a little further than the parents. I think if we look a little bit further, it would be the foundation that family unit was built on by all these so-called public officials, and the convincing and getting us all to go along with this, that these behaviors somehow down the generations became acceptable because we stepped away from those righteous teachings of the house.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the conversion to paying false patriot or false tribute, or paying tribute to a false patriarch in person rather than paying your true credence to the true creator. And that's an important distinction. I make that about the public education system. I think that's inherently a very large part of the problem.
I think you heard that conversation I had with that ex-chairman. That's the reason they took the 5-speed channel down. And they also took a channel down that I never even posted on, called Kit Carson.
Yeah, they try to hide things, and that's one of those things that I tell people about. When I started doing my research and I realized the importance of what you author, what you write, what you speak, things like that, you have to make sure that they're true and correct. So I came up with this phrase: coin thine words or purse thine lips. And this is in all venues. So as long as you're speaking truly from the heart and you're able to recognize any errors or accept any errors that somebody else might recognize, and open yourself to that correction that we were talking about with the little boys. It's not a matter of doing a punishment phase, but an educational phase, learning about consequences versus the rewards. Greetings, Imperious.
Take all that negative and turn it into something positive.
Yeah, we've got to instill, like I said, the behavior of the little boys like this is fine around
Greetings, Brother Keith.
Greetings. And so it's important to understand that the education is the part where we teach you about the safety and intent and all of that. And these boys have only learned about the power. And that's why we teach about the safety and intent, is because of the power. You go around wielding power without taking on the responsibility. You should remind yourself of Spider-Man. You said that comic said it perfectly, and it's one of the most profound statements in reality.
If you can, ricochet it on the bottom of that wall into their feet.
Not with the cannon. If he puts the cannon down, will you put it down?
If you put the cannon down.
Try not to hit him.
Put the gun down and we'll show you the cannon.
He's not going to shoot you, babe. Put it down.
This kid's
Okay,
scared they're gonna get
he's going to
shot.
put it down.
See, and notice that's a probably a psychological front there as well when they use the term cannon. Okay, this kid's got a little handgun, and these kids aren't stupid, so they know the difference between a gun and a cannon. And so that in the terms of the consequences there, they understand a concept that there's a bigger bullet and it could do some real damage. But still, watch what the boys do. They really don't care so much about seeing that cannon. They've got a deadly weapon of their own, and they know it holds that power.
Down now. He's facing
The
it down. Now
survival
you put the
instincts.
gun down. Okay? Come on, Sean. Let's listen, okay, babe? We don't want to hurt you, honey. Can you put it on the floor? It's still going to be right by you, but if you put it down on the floor, then he can keep his cannon down. But put it on the floor.
Ready and 40. Just wait. Stand by.
The sooner you put that down, the sooner we can take you home. We can go see your mom.
Sean, this isn't a game no more. We're not playing a game right now.
Take you to
This
see
is
your
serious.
mom. I think you might be in somebody else's house or something. Maybe it's
I
not
need you to
mama.
put that
Yeah.
down.
We want to help you, Sean. You tell me what you need after you put it down, and I'll make sure that we get you some whatever you need, okay?
Okay, so maybe they just took the gun from home, so walking around pointing it at people. Is he flipping off his little brother?
No, he's pointing his finger.
We're just gonna wait for a second.
Can you do
Just hold
that
on.
for me?
Yeah, they're probably not at home, Kevin.
Well, your
Say
mom
this will
gave me
take
your
you-
names
Is that
backwards
a toy
then.
gun or real? Oh, yeah, go back. Did you hear what
Alright,
it said?
then Eugene.
She said your mom told me. Go back.
Well, your mom gave
Like
me your
10
names
seconds.
backwards
Where's the
then.
mom? That's my
Your mom.
question. How come the mom's not there diffusing the
Can you put it
situation?
Yeah, that's part of the problem that I bring up is, it's the responsibility of the parents first and foremost. This is part of setting thine house in order that the scriptures talk about, raising a child up in the ways of the Lord so they shall not waver. And a child wavering this far, and like I said, behaving in a criminal fashion, where does he learn that behavior versus the, that good faith behavior? That safety and intent that we were talking about earlier. These boys have no idea of the concept of the consequences in reality. That's why I point out about this metaverse. You really have to be careful about this metaverse. It's a matter of realizing its falseness. Even the true stories that people tell you, there's truth in them, but there's a there's a falseness or a displacement, a disposition from reality that relieves it of a true obligation. So people can come on here and say whatever the fuck they want in most reality, minus the terms of service, and not have any consequences. That's why I say I wear this thing. In real life, nobody says a word about it. The only place they say anything about it is on this metaverse. And they're willing to open their mouth quick and say all kinds of shit because there's no consequences.
Eugene.
Now Sean has it. Sean, can you just toss it to the side, babe? Let's make this easy. Because we want to help you.
Man, somebody
We
taught
wanna
that
help
kid how to
you.
hold
I
that.
want to try to do a warning, something.
Put it down, Sean. We don't want to hurt you,
I
okay?
just don't want to.
Put it down, Sean.
I really don't want to 40 a kid right
We
now.
don't want to have.
Yeah, I really don't want a 1040 a kid right now. Yeah, you really don't. That would be the most egregious act in this situation.
Is that even a real gun? The way he turned it there, it almost didn't look like it was real.
I know, and it's the way things are nowadays. In order to play part of the marketing scheme, they've come up with different color designs and everything, customs and all
Psychological scare fair.
whatever you want to call it. That's sounds fair to me.
He said 40 a kid. Yeah, we got guns. 30. Oh, the shot come at him. BB.
See?
Yeah, just right here. Yeah. You see that?
Shot a beanbag at him.
40.
Look, he got his hands up. He's like this.
Drop it! Drop it! Drop it!
Look,
Sean.
you try to give him the guns. I don't want it. You take it. I don't want it.
Load another one. Drop it now! You're gonna get hit.
Just drop the gun.
Drop it!
He said I ain't do anything.
See, and part of it is, again, with this it is a psychological warfare. Okay, and this beanbag down here that they shot from that quote cannon came at him, and it didn't do him any damage. So psychologically, they've already won in part of this, just like they've been winning all the way through. They haven't given in. That's what most people cling to and call it winning, is clinging on to shit.
You have black people act like this, and they be grown adults. They act the exact same way. Yeah, so this is probably not even at the parent's house.
I didn't have the gun. I didn't have the gun. Yeah, you did. You both shared it back and forth multiple times. Okay. So there's that behavior that they knew what they were doing. So there's got to be some kind of consequences. Okay. But I'll still give them that, they were indoctrinated by their parents into that kind of behavior. So it's totally the parents' faults. But just like, again, the scripture says we pay for our father's sins. This is one of those type of situations. Go ahead.
Hey Keith, how would you adjudicate this? And by
Yeah, I was
adjudication,
just
I
laughing
mean
at the
the liability
have the gun.
from the
We're
child
passing it around
is
like hot
on the parent.
potato.
Oh yeah, well, it would depend upon the parents and the total situation there. But from what I understand, they were 7, 8 years old and they had access to a gun. That's the first and priority thing to find out. How the hell did these guys get access to a gun?
Because my question is, how come the parents aren't here? The parents technically should know best their child and how to diffuse a situation, as in diffusing a situation, know what their child's needs are.
Well,
Is
that
I probably would have done a trade, right?
well,
Children always like
well,
things, and
no,
hey, I'll give you some candy.
you don't understand. The thing is, they don't care about their children.
That's what
That's
I'm
why
getting
they
at.
that's why they have access to a dangerous weapon like that. So why would they show up and show any care then?
I guess
It's
what I was saying was ideally, not
yeah,
in this situation.
yeah. Ideally, the kids wouldn't have the gun to begin with because of the parents. And again, this is why I say we have to quit letting the responsibility fall everywhere else. The family belongs to the
Seems
parents,
like
not the children. Go ahead.
it seems like throughout it seems like throughout society and time that that family unit that I believe would be the responsible parties and whoever those heads of that house is in that family unit based on one set of teachings. And then those teachings is what grows inside that family unit and shows outside the family unit in business. And it seems that the growth has been in man's, say, interpretation or ego of the way things should be instead of what was already laid down, ordained, and established. So
Yeah.
there's
That
been throughout time always a bending of the rules as if that is now been adopted. It's okay to do harm as long as
Cutting off, brother.
this words.
you broke up there. You broke up there at the last end. This what?
It would seem to be a conjuring up of spell work and with words,
Oh,
hiding
yeah.
in the dark of those ignorance to the teachings.
Along that sense, I would agree with that
It would
because as we find the English language and its artistic ways, it is used to manipulate people. Very much so.
mhm.
Greetings,
And we go back to like I saw a clip from like in the 70s where it said like Kentuckians in a certain part had to be reminded to hug their children and tell them they love them. Well, it never I don't recall that back in the day. Maybe not so much of loving or whatever and actually speaking those words, but looking back wasn't what they were painting in that clip that they were broadcasting, and obviously through psychological warfare was planting some seeds within that broadcast. And that seems to be way worse today. They are yelling at their children, I ain't got time, I got work to do, I'm gonna lose my job.
Well, that goes right along with the topic as the authority to say what you want, whether you realize it or not. People, these boys have something to say, and they were trying to say it. I don't know why or what, but they certainly have something to say and wanted some attention. And I think it's important that we learn a better way of expressing ourselves. Like Brother Russ just said, it's a spell of illness. you know. So let's get on to the next one. We got a bunch of shorts we're going to go through now.
Giuseppe Colombano Rossetti. My friends call me Jip. How do I address you?
You doing it?
You really need all these guns?
Now, if you put yours down first.
Why did those boys need those guns or that gun?
You shake on that? How about I slip 25 G's in your pocket right now? You let me walk in there, drag Nucky Thompson out by his dick.
I ain't seen Nucky going on 3 weeks now.
That's not what I heard.
Boy, you heard wrong. I pay that man his cut and he leave me to my business. Now, what happened to him ain't none of my concern.
Still, I'll go on in, take a look. Huh?
Got a little private affair going on right now.
$25,000. Nucky Thompson. I really want us to get along. Giuseppe Colombo.
See, that's about private business, that private message. And boys had something to say, and they wanted to make it public.
I believe what they were trying to express there would be that they're both emotionally imbalanced and the family unit has failed them on proper teachings.
Yep. Notice how quick all that happens when reality hits and says, okay, guns down. None of us wants any. And then it came to the real contract. See, that's that private contracting. The guy already has a contract with the guy inside. He's got private affairs going on. Stay out of my private contract. Let me finish business first. You ain't got no right coming in. The same with the police. Same with the police, folks. I got a covenant going on with my Father in heaven. You going to come into this temple? You better have a righteous goddamn fucking reason for it. Otherwise, you don't come in that threshold.
Can I see your ID? Sorry? Can I see your ID? Ma'am, don't worry, this will just take a second. Before you start going rifling through there for your money, if I could just see your ID real quick.
See my ID for what, man?
Hey, if I had a call, you fit a partial description. Again, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I don't mean to interrupt your business. Description of what?
Yeah, listen to this. Partial description of what?
Right, I'm looking for a guy causing trouble, and you seem to be a gentleman.
For the past 30 minutes, I'm just here shopping for my wife, man. Do I look like I've been...
Guy causing trouble. That's a pretty vague description, first and foremost. And for a guy causing trouble, and he's got two women in his presence, I don't think that he's really causing trouble. Do you, ladies? How about you guys?
On the run? I mean, I have a shirt and tie, and I'm in this little boutique here about to check out.
Are you going to comply, or are we going to have an issue? Because all I need is your ID, and then we can go from there. So once I see...
All I need is your ID, and then we can go from there. See, it's that false patriarch, and he demands to know his children. And if you admit that you're one of his children, guess what? You must fulfill that demand. That's why I don't carry ID. Sorry, I don't have a name. Really? No, I don't. Mom and Dad called me Keith all my life. And if they get mad at me, they might call me Keith Orland. And I hail from the family Little. And I hear I was born around August 20th, 1966. Now, if they want to write that stuff down in the English language according to their legal script and twist it and flop it and call it a first and last name that I never gave them, and I told them I didn't have, and then put down a birth date that I never gave them because I never told them I was birthed. I told them I hear I was born. So it would be hearsay, which is what the name is too. So if they want to go ahead and make a conscription on that based on hearsay, that's why they don't like me in courts. I comprehend the English language for how they use it now, and it don't apply.
See your ID, we could go from there, and then I can let you pay for
No, you're not going to get my ID, and no, I'm not going to comply. I know my rights, and this is definitely against the law, so no.
Okay.
Finish paying for my wife's blouses here, and I'm going to exit the store.
Well, I'll be the one to decide what happened. I need to make sure you're not someone that.
I'll be the one to decide what happened. No, you don't. See, this is the police officers playing that judge, jury, and executioner on the spot, knowing they don't have that authority, but posing as that authority and saying, no, you got to because I said so. So that would mean that the courts would be dependent upon their word. In all cases. Suppose that's why they're 95% win rates, because they twist the words to make it sound like the officer is the one telling the truth. Even if he didn't have probable cause, he still assaulted the officer after the officer tried to arrest him. Come on now.
It's a threat.
The officer's trying to be the Duke.
Yep. Feudal system.
Sir, yes.
Oh, I'm an attorney. My bad. Okay, whatever.
Yes.
So then you should know.
You're attempting to break the law, and you're doing it right in front of this young lady right here, which is atrocious to me. I'm not going to show you my ID.
Okay, because you're a lawyer or something, and you know the law now.
I am an attorney.
You're going to explain to me the law.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. That's how it goes. They're learned in the law. You're not. Where do
No,
these
I'm not
people...
going to.
Where
He's not going to explain the law. He's going to lay the law down.
Well, where do these people think they get that authority? I mean, they clearly have not studied the law. Clearly. Whereas this is a federal attorney. And he looks like he's kind of successful. He speaks like he's kind of successful. This is pathetic. And we're going to hear one later on with an officer talking about how we're supposed to respect them. Really?
Okay,
That's
well,
what
then
we
you
call
should know I am the law at
attributes,
this-
isn't it? The way he handles himself in the form, that's an attribute.
Attribute. Yeah.
And it shapes and forms a young child into a young man or into a young woman, vice versa.
Yeah.
Price, and you can't just walk up on me and ask for my ID. I know that.
This isn't a law book. That's
If it is not, then I'm asking you to please leave my boutique. You can go harass someone outside, but this gentleman has been shopping for 30 minutes.
I'm not here to harass
Yes
anybody.
or no?
Thank you.
Yes or no?
You're lucky that she's going to protect you in this.
You're lucky she's going to protect you in this. You understand what happened there was two witnesses just came forth. Said, listen, buddy, you got to stop running your fucking mouth. Quit crying wolf.
They just flipped the table on him.
Yeah. And the right response would have been to admit that he was wrong and apologize, but and instead he said, you're lucky, almost to threaten him.
Absolutely.
Correct. He should have never been able to leave.
Right. It's a continuation for a tactic of manipulating him in the future if he sees him again. So the only thing it's really doing is helping manipulate the guy that's a lawyer be prepared when he does come across him again, and probably be preemptive and file a claim and have him fired.
You know, I wanted to point out that if anyone's lucky in this situation, it's the cop, and it's specifically because of that woman, because this man being a lawyer knows better than anybody that him being a man doesn't qualify as reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime, and he's not required to identify himself if there isn't reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime. So it's right off the bat. If it began with a request for an identification and there's no reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime, then the case is going to get thrown out.
Well, yeah, that's why I say it was so ambiguous how he addressed him. You know, when we talk about addressing people, you know, yeah, I'm looking for a man that's causing trouble. Well, first of all, I'm a man, I'll admit, but causing trouble? No, you got that one wrong. And he insisted that he was right, that there was trouble. He knew there was trouble, and he was trying to imply it was this man. Why? I don't know, and I don't care. It just shows that his impotence in really knowing any kind of law and just trying to force his authority are obvious. Just horse.
I'll be outside. Hi, CRD.
I'll be outside. See, like I was saying, it's like a forewarning tactic that when he sees him in the future. So you're lucky she's sticking up for you. I'll be outside.
Wonder if that officer's aware of justifiable homicide is still not a crime. Be easy with them words.
Yeah, yeah. So the next one, let's check this out.
She drowns in scheme. All her eggs are scrambled and her quarters beef. She shares the deeds on her own fence where she feels so elite. Don't send down the wind when she spreads her legs, so don't send down the wind.
So be careful of those crazy hoes out there, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be careful. If you're going to grow up and be big boys and girls, raise your children up to do the same thing. Otherwise, we end up with too many hoes and too many dumbasses out there fucking them, ending up with the children you saw in the previous video. Stop it. Keep your legs closed and your minds and hearts open. I don't like that sick shit. It's funny as hell, but I don't like it. It's sad that we come to this day in society and we have to write songs like that, and people only look at them as humor.
Right.
Where are you coming from?
Alexandria. Just got off work on my way to my daughter's graduation.
Alexandria?
Yeah.
High school graduation?
Yeah.
And here we have a man that's a hardworking man, has a good family, and doing what's right. And some cocksucker on the side of the road tearing his family up over bullshit charges. This is the epitome of why I don't trust cops, and I don't like them one bit. I've never met one that was honest and true. Not one.
Are you taking any prescription medications? Any illegal controlled substance uses that we use? How about alcohol?
No.
Okay, so I'm a drug recognition evaluator, and there's a couple concerning things.
Okay.
I'm a drug recognition evaluator, and there's a couple of concerning things. Excuse me, I'd like to see your medical license then, because drugs has to do with medicine and such. And you have no degree if you don't have a medical license. And even if you did, you would then understand the consent issue here. You ain't getting shit. Go ahead, Russ.
I was just going to say, ma'am, with those attributes that you have, you don't seem to have certain form to have any authority. Who gave you that license?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not a medical license. It's just a degree that said you went through a course to be a drug recognition agent. Really? I don't care. It doesn't give you any special particulars concerning to me.
You know, that practices, those practices while you're a child, you know, that's fine. But once you grow up, you got to give up those practices and start perfecting something.
Absolutely. That's why we need to understand the importance of diversity. Diversity isn't just in the different people, but the variations and the creations that we can come up with. You know, there was a stringed instrument one time, and somebody created another kind of stringed instrument, and a drum and another kind of drum, and this and that. You know, it goes beyond comprehension that we now have some crazy guitar out there with 12 fucking strings.
They sound absolutely beautiful too.
Doesn't it sound like a harp? Come on. So
I had one.
I'm going to run you through a few tests.
Okay.
Toes touching, arms by your side. Blow, 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 blow. Zeros. You were telling the truth. So
you were telling the truth. Now remember, he He's honored. He's on his way home from work on his way to his daughter's graduation directly from work. Not even stopping. He's going directly to the graduation. She stopped him. So now he's going to be late. Watch this.
You're showing a lot of signs of stimulant use.
Well, you're telling me I'm overstimulated and I just passed the sobriety test.
Sounds like guilty until proven innocent.
So your drug recognition is now saying, despite the fact that he passed the test, which you admit means that he wasn't overstimulated, and now you're saying he's still over. You're still saying he's overstimulated, despite the fact that he passed your test, both your physical test and the blow test.
You're making now you're getting agitated, which makes me a little nervous.
Well, of course, you're going way beyond the means and methods of determining what that little degree on a piece of paper says you can do. See, that's why I tell him, no way, you ain't doing shit for me.
I have to go in for a BCA drug test, which I don't get the results for today.
Why do you think I'm overstimulated? I don't understand.
Which I don't get the results of for today. So what she's doing is she's arresting without reasonable articulated suspicion. You guys understand that? She's going on her own presumption and assumption based on a piece of paper and has already found no drugs, no physical deterrent, no mental deterrent. Now he's going to jail, going to miss the graduation and everything.
I think when situations like this happen, those people, so in this case, that chick should be brought in to the next meeting and stripped right there in front of the whole community, family members and all. And I don't mean, hey, take off the badge. I mean, strip that son of a bitch off of them and degrade them motherfuckers in front of everybody so they know how it feels.
Absolutely. And we have to improve this system of this Brady notice. You know,
But
we have to.
It seems like the lawyers and Internal Revenue, in a sense, are gatekeepers to that happening.
Well, yeah, we all know this. That's why we have to understand. We have to quit going to their system for administrative process, relief, and remedy if we're not part of the administration. That stuff doesn't apply to us unless we have some kind of minimum contacts with the state. And that's what that SSA and the birth enumeration and the driver's license, public education, those are all just minimum contacts with the state that are implied contracts that are then maintained as adhesion contracts, as if though you're an employee of the state because you got a state ID or driver's license. You got to stop it. That's the false patriarch.
Numerous signs of
what?
Because I'm arresting you for being impaired while driving.
I'm not impaired.
We're impaired by prescription medications.
I'm not impaired. I drove a semi all.
Where are you coming from?
Impaired by a prescription medication. There's no prescription medication. He drives a semi all day long. They won't allow you to drive on prescription medication that will make you drowsy or anything. These people are ridiculous.
Those are wild false claims.
Yeah, and possibly even costing him his job too, in relation to not just the missing the graduation ceremony, but losing his job, and then potentially ended up going through a divorce because of it, and then losing his children and having to pay child support for crying out loud.
And they probably did it to the wrong people as well. In a sense, they should have done it to the first video of that family, called in DCFS. Hey, why aren't his parents taking care of the two kids from grabbing a gun? They probably won't call DCFS in that situation, but this is
again, you're calling an administrative services operation on people that are not subject to it. Department of Child Safety and all that those those are all under Title 4D contracts for administrative purposes only. And you have to be part of the foster care or adoption system to be a part of that administrative service. That means you either have to be a foster parent or a foster child or an adopted child.
Or one of the agencies, like a daycare
Right.
center.
Right. And so if you're not part of that administration, then they're not supposed to be coming after you. Same with these police. See, you're not technically part of the administration. They're not supposed to be coming after you. We have to learn this. We have to learn how to educate people to understand there's a distinct difference in the separation of powers between the people and the administrative services and stuff that have to do with commercial circumstances where you have to be on the clock. You have to be under contract or be willing to contract. That means consent. They can't just go bullying you around.
The minorities and the religious
may be
believe in the name of equality.
But what if the majority feel uncomfortable, feel uneasy, and say they don't want to?
I think then the onus is on us as well, isn't it? I mean, to actually reach out. And I'm hoping that this is just going one step towards that, to say to people, look, you know, we're human beings just like you.
But if I
And
may,
I have children.
They're talking about him wearing the hijab or whatever, the jihad or whatever. Okay, thank you.
Religious freedom is an extremely important thing. I think most people would agree, I hope, in this room, Britain is the most tolerant place in the world to live, including as a Muslim.
Yeah.
But let's just add one thing to this, if I may. The issue of social interaction is very important, and not just to me, but obviously for the majority of the British people. What I say tonight, what Yasmin says and other people say tonight, people see our faces. They know who said it. I'm sorry to say this, but nobody knows who you are. They can hear your name. They can't see you. If I say something stupid on television tonight, people know it's me saying it. If you do, with all due respect, you can disappear and no one
I have a
knows.
question. Is this before COVID or after COVID?
Doesn't matter. It's not in that context. It's in the context of what they're wearing as a matter of tradition. And
I just at the end, when he was saying we can't see your face because of a hijab. So my context was COVID, right? Everyone had a face covering, yet we're not complaining in that manner.
right, what we're talking about here is the social concept of wearing such garment and then having to interplay with a foreign society that is not comfortable with you hiding your face because everybody in that society is open. That's why
Interesting acronym as well.
I got to jump off of here. I'll talk to you guys later. Nice chatting with you.
You bet. Feel free to say anything. Anything on your way out?
No, I don't have anything to say. It was nice chatting with you though, and I'll be looking for you to go live again.
Thank you kindly. Be blessed and be sure to share out. Thanks for stopping up.
All right. Yep. Take care.
You bet. So the principle here is the societal norms. It's like this migration situation going on. The more migrants that come into the country, the more the social norm changes in the demographics and everything. And that changes how the whole system works. And we have to understand that's what's playing out with the families and the children as we raise children up in our own insanity. It's changing the demographic, no matter what system, all over the world. Even the immigrants bringing in their insanity to match our insanity is changing the demographics of the insanity total. We are seeing more and more of it. It's getting into our younger and younger children.
And I'd like to add on to that. I think the changing of the social norm just isn't a migrant of the physical capacity, but a migration of the social meta capacity, where social media and the meta world has been influencing the population in a negative perspective.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's been
controlling the narrative.
Well, it's been a positive and a negative. Just depends on how you view it. I see it as the world's greatest library, so I used it in that context, and I'm aware of the concept that these channels and panel verses, like I've expressed many times, are really only about 0.1% of reality. So take them for what they are. It's entertainment, and get on. Move on. Same with these Karen and Ken insanity clips and stuff. If you end up watching a lot of these, understand it's 0.1% of reality here. And though it's disturbing, and you do see it in reality, and it is getting bad, the potential here is to not get caught up in it and realize what you can do about it in your own sense by not being insane, by not carrying out with these same behaviors, by doing your education. Don't believe me. Don't believe the neighbor. Don't believe the government. For crying out loud, don't believe your mother. Do your research so you know.
A 12-year-old got her first experience with the police when a neighbor called on her for playing her guitar during the day.
Your tongue all tangled up, Paisley. I was sitting, I'm kind of mad. Somebody called the police on me, and turns out it was my fellow neighbor across the street. And yeah, they called the police on me for just sitting here singing my little heart out. And you know what the police officer says? I got her card, just in case they try to call the police again. And you know what she says? She goes, honey, you don't have to stop singing until 10 o'clock. And I'm like, okay.
That's the noise ordinance.
That's the noise ordinance.
Our neighbor. That could have just walked over here.
See, and this is the epitome of what we're talking about. Now we've got this beautiful little gal that obviously has a talent and wants to expand that talent and share it with the neighborhood at the same time, believing that it's enjoyable. And I'm sure it is. But one neighbor from hell, one old biddy somehow, where's her care? Where's her motherly and grandmotherly endearment for children growing up with good talents, that she's so butthurt that she had to call the police to try to silence this? It's pathetic. It's insane.
And talk to us.
Yeah.
But instead she calls the law.
That's for emergencies, y'all. Am I an emergency? I am not.
I think you're going to need to write a song about this.
Yeah. It was just, I've never had somebody call the police on me. I'm 12. Fuck. The audacity, you know?
Absolutely, the audacity. The audacity to try to strangle the very talents that we're supposed to be inscribed with and go forth and share. It's amazing.
Dumber than a third grader? Watch as Charlie Kirk dismantles this college kid's absurd argument and exposes his complete ignorance.
Flag, you're here for your brainwash tour, and then you chose to put your, I believe this is a manifesto before the Constitution. I was just going to ask if you see the irony in your own propaganda in the Constitution on your brainwash tour.
Well, no. So do you know who that audience is for?
For people who can't read it.
Yeah, that's a Constitution for third graders.
Yeah. Why are you handing it out to college students?
Watch this. This is great. Because remember, I've spoken several times about how disdainful it is that we have young children, our younger ladies and gentlemen walking out of high school, thinking that they know it all. They know enough to go the rest of their life and not have another ounce of education, and therefore they don't pick up another book.
Well, because the constitutional literacy of college students is the constitutional literacy of third graders.
I think that's false equivalency.
Well, hold on. Let's.
I think that's a false equivalency, is what he says. So watch this.
Let's test your knowledge. Don't open it up. What is the 10th Amendment? Okay, let's get easier. What's the Fourth Amendment?
Isn't that the No Quartering Act?
No, that's the Third.
No Recording Act. Notice he said it in the negative. No Recording Act. This is great, folks. These are the ones going to college now. This is America. It was supposedly great at one time, but this is evidence that Donald Trump is correct. We need to make America great again. The only way we can do that is by making the people great again.
Amendment. When was the Bill of Rights ratified?
1789.
1791.
I just want to ask.
No, but
he's failed so far. From a third grade Constitution. And he's going to college, folks. And he's questioning Charlie Kirk about his construction of the publishing of that as part of his tour.
I'm just saying, you came here guns a-blazing. Yeah. You do not know more than a third grader about the U.S. Constitution.
Dumber than a third grader?
Absolutely. And that's important to understand, folks. This is where we're at. We have people that don't understand the very foundation of what this country stands on, and that's the Constitution. That Constitution has a Bill of Rights, enumerated 1 through 10, that if you comprehend them accordingly, that 10th Amendment is a separation of powers that should clearly tell you that the 9th Amendment supersedes all else and is the purpose to be, or is the gateway to be able to make amendments to the Constitution. One of which I firmly believe is changing the language of the 10th Amendment so people comprehend it much more relatively to themselves as we the people. And that is the greatest power, because the government of the United States nor of the states gets any delegated power unless it was delegated first from the people, not from a corporate entity, not from a military fascist system, not from a political unit, not from an educational institution, not from an arts and language league, nothing. They get it from the people only.
I'm so glad you were so desperate you married your loser of a husband, because there's no victory in being married to him. Let's see your ring size. He didn't even give you a ring. How pathetic is that?
Yeah, first of all, you don't have a ring at all. But second of all, I love this ring because Andrew gave me this ring when neither of us had anything.
When neither of us had anything. See, when it comes down to the finality of the day, it's like I said, I have a covenant with my Father which art in heaven, and you cannot supersede that in any way. And that's what she's saying with her husband, and that ring is, that's a symbol. It's symbolic of their covenant that you cannot breach as a man or woman. She's already bound.
Well, you still don't, because he's blown away that I do.
That's not true. Marge, if you knew how much Andrew made right now, you would cry. So he could buy me any ring that I wanted now. I don't want a new ring. I want this ring.
Oh, you're trying to save face.
I want this ring because it holds so much more sentimental value in the base foundation of the reality of the covenant is nothing material, but more intangible. The spiritual connection that we hold with each other.
You're trying to save face.
I wanted the man, not the ring, okay?
Well, you scored. You scored. Woohoo! You got married to a loser that can only give you a gold band.
Look,
loser.
I want you to say something nice to Rachel. Rachel, I want you to say something nice to Holly, okay?
This is where they have a hard time.
She doesn't have to say anything nice to me. She's showing the whole world what kind of personality she has that's going to attract millionaires. That's what every millionaire wants there, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm so glad you were so desperate you married your loser of a husband.
And see, that's the premise of this lady, is she's looking for a top 10 man. She's looking for a millionaire. She won't accept anything less. Really?
There's no victory in
Really?
getting married.
Guys, tell me, is this $1 million
That's what-
woman?
No, but that's what I recall hearing as a child. Marry you a rich man or marry you a rich woman.
Yeah.
But are you rich in spirit? Because that's where the real foundation of wealth lies.
Absolutely, sharing them talents. Like I said, the spiritual foundation is developed through your own talents as a child, and that's what we're destroying.
That also has to bring the question, Keith, and you'll probably agree with this, going back to our childhoods. Was it the parents didn't even really have the proper foundation of teachings to teach us, because they didn't pick up on certain attributes in forms of their children through their creativities and whatnot, that they were outcasted or maybe even called the black sheep, or
that's
so
that's
forth
the
and
public.
so on, to control that absolute monarchy.
Well, that's that public education system. Understand again, if you give up the main responsibility of education, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So if you give up the education of that knowledge to a false patriarch, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to say, but there comes a time when a young man or young woman gets to a point in his life that he should realize that something's wrong, and he needs to further educate himself. And some are brought up in a world where they learn that very young, and they institute that in their lives very young, and they continue growing and learning, and they become that outcast because of it. They know things that most people that are indoctrinated into the system don't know and comprehend, and are bound to. And I'm referring to myself here. I understand the inability for people to do some of the things that I do, because I am so boundless when it comes to those state contracts and willingness to volunteer certain things. And I'm the guy that walked around saying fuck you, you ain't my daddy most of my life. And so it set a good routine. It's just, it doesn't have a great outlook because people don't see me as a nice guy, and I admit I'm not. I'm an angry man, and I don't hold back. I'm very blunt and bold, and I really don't care about people's emotions anymore. And it's a hard position to play, but we have to understand, if we don't stop this shit, we're going to end up with a society of Hitler's willing executioners again. It's all going to happen over. History is going to repeat itself in the worst way. Instead of propagating things that are good for us and helping it manifest in better ways, we keep repeating the worst things in life. It's sickening.
Good, how are you?
Something I can help you with?
No, I'm good, thanks.
What are you videoing in here?
Everything I can see.
Need your ID.
You need my ID?
Please.
I need your ID. See, that's the first thing they go to. Why do they need that ID? They don't. That's a game. I need that ID. Are you part of the administration? If so, you can't be using the camera in here. But if you're not part of the administration, folks, use that First Amendment right as one of we the people with the Ninth Amendment right to say, hey, I don't care what you're doing. I have the right of oversight of the government according to the 10th Amendment and the separation of powers.
Well, that little incident right there, wouldn't that, I guess, from the tables being flipped back around where they should have been to begin with, wouldn't that officer wouldn't he be the one trying to marshal certain attributes in another human being that is a detriment to the foundation of his teachings?
Absolutely. You look at him. He's on his collar. He's got 4-star. He's a 4-star.
Mhm.
He's been there a while. He should know better. This
He's
is the
seasoned.
yeah. This is the guy. This is the kind of guy I would love to slam. I would love for this kind of guy to come approach me.
Yeah.
Greetings, Denizen. How you doing tonight?
Greetings. I'm well. How is everyone?
We are good. We are good. We're complaining about the Kens, Karens, and the false authority. You come
To
to
my
join
favorite.
us? I was going to say, you come to join us. I know that's part of your rhetoric. You hate the authority, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say though, this guy is doing a good job. Like he is not taught to respect our rights or honor his oath. He's trained to do this shit.
Right, right.
That's where he
According,
got them stars, is because he always
exactly.
says, "Let me get that ID" before he even introduces himself.
You know,
Yep.
back in high school and just thereafter, they were called notches on a bedpost. Where did it all go wrong?
Can I have your ID, please? I need your ID.
Who are you?
I'm the chief. If you're gonna come into my lobby and videotape in today's
Oh, I
day and
recognize
age,
this guy.
Yeah, my lobby. No, 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 no. You were given administrative powers of supervision of we the people's lobby.
I think I have the right to ask you to identify yourself.
I don't care if you
I
think you have
think.
the right or not. You don't. You have a duty and an obligation of reasonable articulable suspicion, though. Exactly, Dennison. I think.
Yeah, you don't ever want to say "I think" to me if you're a cop. Just go ahead and pretend like you have the authority. It's more effective.
Yeah.
Okay, is it not a public lobby?
It is?
Is photography a crime?
I need your ID.
I'm asking if photography.
He's not going to answer that one. Is photography a crime? I need your ID.
No.
Fucking facetious fuckers.
Photography is a crime.
I need your ID,
It's
sir.
a yes or a no.
I need your ID.
Why? Do you suspect me of a crime?
So, sir, this is really odd that you're.
You notice he got his little black book out there. He's going to
Yeah.
write notes. Go ahead and write all
Yeah.
the notes you want, dude.
It's because he doesn't have gloves. If he had gloves, he would have put his gloves on.
You're probably right. Here, let me go back to my office real quick. I'll be right back. Snap, snap.
My lobby.
My lobby.
Videotaping this lobby.
My lobby.
That's suspicious to me.
My lobby.
I don't care if it's suspicious to you. Find the crime first and then reasonably articulate it, and then we can discuss the ID.
And I'm curious to know who you are.
I'm someone who
I don't care if you're curious or not. Go ask someone else.
checks up on the government, and it's suspicious to me that you're so worried about the people putting cameras on you. What are you doing wrong?
I'm not doing anything.
Then why are you so
Oh
worried
yeah,
about
that's
the cameras?
James.
Yeah, James Freeman.
I
Yeah,
vaguely remember this incident. It was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and let's go back. He says what?
You doing wrong?
I'm not doing anything.
Then why?
I'm not doing anything wrong. Yeah, you are. We're witnessing it. You're trying to demand ID from this guy for no crime in a public place.
And a lot of times I think deep down they know they're not supposed to, and that's why they get immediately defensive, because they got it's cognitive dissonance, right? In the back of their head, they know that they're breaking the law, but as a culture and as a method, they do this every day and get away with it, and therefore it's acceptable.
Correct.
Why are you so worried about the camera?
Because I need to know who you are.
You are doing something wrong right now. You're trying to demand ID unlawfully.
Yep. Trying to demand ID unlawfully. Like I said, they try to demand ID from me. I ain't got none. Well, what's your name? Well, I don't have a name either. One officer got smart with me, said, well, everybody's got a name. I said, no, real men, we have callings. And I've been called Keith all my life. Now, when my mom and dad used to get mad at me, they might call me Keith Orland. And I hail from the family Little. Now, I hear I was born around August 20th, 1966. Now, if that dumbass writes it down on his little tablet as a first and last name or legal name and a birth date, that the onus on him would be on him for the language conversion, because I never gave him a name. I told him I didn't have a name, that I'd been called Keith all my life. So I don't have it. It's what other people use to catch my attention on a regular basis. Nothing more, nothing less. They call out to me. Let's look at the next one.
All the stuff I do for you as a mother. Literally, I take care of you, I feed you, I cook, I do all that stuff. And all I did, I asked you for your birthday money so that I can pay the light bill.
She wants the kid's birthday money so she can pay the light bill.
You don't want to give me the birthday money. So I am taking the PS5 back so I can get the money so the bill can be paid.
Well, how you gonna ask for my birthday money that I got on my birthday to pay the light bill? And why you trying to take my PS5 away?
Well, you can't play the PS5 anyway if there ain't gonna be no damn lights in our house.
You shouldn't have been going out so much, you would have had the money.
You shouldn't have been going out so much. You would have had the money.
Is that parent hiding those certain attributes of that child to be a natural born leader?
Well, yeah, and not only that, but understand how these mechanisms work. This is a materialistic mechanism where the mother is materialistic and she's using the materialistic aspect on her children as manipulation. What do you think that PS5 is for? It's so that he has something to take his attention while she's out on all of her dates.
Right.
Going out all the time. It's a replacement. It's a replacement mother, and saying, well, if you're not going to help the real mother, then I'm going to take that mother. And now you're going to have to help. It's the same thing as a false patriarch. It's a false matriarch. Does that make sense? Or am I just insane?
What happened to the income tax?
Yeah, what happened to the income tax? Stay out my business. No, you stay out your business and stay out my birthday money. Keep my birthday money out your business.
Right. See how that works?
Fuck.
And I'm telling you, that's an issue when I need help. You help.
I went out so much. I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm helping you. I'm telling you to not go out so much.
Right. I'm actually being the man of the house right now.
Absolutely. 6, 7 years old.
That's cool, man. That's some cool shit.
Yeah,
at least he's gonna grow up to be a real man. Props to the little one.
Yeah, this is totally opposite from the first video we watched where the two little boys had that gun. Mom and dad were the problem, and the two little boys didn't know how to behave properly because of it. Was it really their fault? No. Do they need consequences? Yes. It was a very dangerous situation that they should learn from, certainly. As a punishment, no. Educate these kids. They are not stupid. Listen to this one. He ain't stupid.
And you need to spend money on your bills.
Leilani, I'm not even talking to you. So you stay in a child's place.
Oh, so now I got another kid popping up off on her too. So not just the one kid, it's the other kid both mouthing off to her, telling her what's right.
Not even disrespectfully either, just telling her straight up how to be an adult.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. Maybe I'm naive. Sheltered.
In a child's place, but you asking my brother to pay your bills. And just like
damn.
You start spending money on us and stop going spending money on yourself and your little boyfriend.
Boy.
Damn.
We're gonna listen to that one again, folks.
All the stuff
Oh, wait a minute. See what the little boy did at the end? Watch this. He back there smiling. Watch what he does.
All the stuff
missed
I do for you. Y'all jumping over y'all ass.
He back there.
Literally, I take care of you, I feed you, I cook, I do all that stuff. And all I did, I asked you for your birthday money so that I can pay the light bill. You don't want to give me the birthday money. So I am taking the PS5 back so I can get the money so the bill can be paid.
Well, how you gonna ask for my birthday money that I got on my birthday to pay the light bill?
Get that link I just dropped. Activate.
Well, you can't play the PS5 anyway if there ain't gonna be no damn lights in our house.
You shouldn't have been going out so much, you would have had the money. What happened to the income tax?
Trying to, first of all,
I'm saying this shows how the internet can be proactive or detrimental. As in the first video, like you mentioned, you had these two kids with a gun, but then now you have these other two kids, and they're shown responsibility, probably not through the mother, but through some type of social media source.
Yeah, I don't know where they're getting it, but they got it. And I'm telling you, kids aren't stupid. So there are some that make it through the cracks and through all the indoctrination and see the world for what it is. Okay?
I'm telling you, that's an issue when I need help. You help.
You went out so much. I'm tired of you going out. You need to spend time with us, and you need
You need to spend time with us. Like I said, that PlayStation 5 is for a reason.
Yeah.
Leilani, I'm not even talking to you. So you stay in the child's place.
You said stay in the child's place, but you asking my brother to pay your bills. And just like
After you told him to stay out your business.
say, you need to start spending money on us and stop going spending money on yourself and your little boyfriend.
Boy,
Watch his head.
Y'all finna whoop y'all ass.
He got all cocky eyes and smiled and everything.
This officer asked.
But see, that's what we're really getting on, is the indoctrination of our own children, from the indoctrination of our parents, from the indoctrination of their parents. It's not getting better, folks. It's getting worse.
See, I think, if I may, I think those little kids like that right there was the ones that God sent here to make everybody's life easier in that family bloodline. And they're all shoving them little boys to the bottom.
Yep.
They're there to help assist in building those empires.
Yeah, you get a bright child like that, and literally, she's got two of them.
Yeah, two philosophers.
You should be opening their minds up with some good reading, not some PlayStation 5.
And that's right there is where the border should be. What we allow to enter our children's minds.
Yep, go ahead.
Both videos of both kids, all they wanted was attention.
Yeah, everybody's seeking attention.
Exactly.
So let's take a look at this one. This is another police officer one, and this is ridiculous because this has to do with a senior man who is being bluntly honest, and he doesn't have any relation with alcohol and stuff. And so listen to how this goes. It says this man, he drank a soda, then gets arrested because of the line of questioning and the way the man answered, which was totally honest.
This man, how much have you had to drink today? Referring to alcohol, the man said,
not very much.
The 78-year-old veteran thought the officer was referring to water.
How much you had to drink today? Not very much. No, how much is not very much?
A few minutes later, the officer asked again.
So how much did you have to drink today? I don't know. Not enough. Not enough? Okay.
He's thinking it's a hot day out, and the officer's just wondering, why is he sweating or something? Has he had enough to drink or something? And he's just oblivious because the officer never mentioned alcohol once. Okay.
Well, you're unsteady on your feet getting out of the vehicle and whatnot. So are you going to, what's going to happen at this point is, are you going to consent to field sobriety exercises? Absolutely not. Put your hands behind your back.
That's the correct answer.
DUI.
The man's wife then says that he's been sober for years.
Does not drink. Zero. Okay. Now.
Doesn't look or act or sound drunk either.
Now understand the context of the question he asked him originally.
How much have you had to drink?
Yeah, and he said, not much, not enough, not very much, not enough. Implying that he did drink. But he never clarified alcohol. This is the importance of language, folks, and this is why it's important to listen to these police officers when they say, well, I feel like I've got a right, or I think I've got it right. No, you don't have to think. It's not a matter of opinion. It's a matter of facts.
She's saying you never drank. You don't drink. You said you did drink.
I did not. You said, how much have I had to drink today? I says, not much.
How much did you have to drink today?
I had a couple of Dr. Peppers. I had a water.
No alcohol.
No alcohol.
Not.
See? He answered faithfully and truthfully.
Because police rely on vague and ambiguous questioning.
Absolutely. That's why I say you got to pay attention to these fuckers because they will try to sling you up.
One bit.
Not one. Give me the damn breathalyzer.
This officer asked,
give me the damn breathalyzer.
I noticed an increase in these videos too, where they refuse to give the breathalyzer. Even when they threaten with it in the beginning, once they kind of start to lose faith that they're going to be able to find anything, then they try to postpone that breathalyzer.
Yeah, in some places they don't even take breathalyzers out with them. If they can't get it through a field sobriety test, then they just don't do a breathalyzer. Oh, we have to go back to the station to do a breathalyzer.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's which means I'm going to book you anyway.
Exactly. That's the booking charge. That's where they have to charge you then. Really? Well, let's see what it says here. How about we just forego the breathalyzer and just have you do a blood test at the hospital? Because I know when I get to the hospital, they're going to give me a document to sign, and I'm going to sign that in the proper fashion. And it's going to prove that you were operating under false pretenses. Oops. Them damn hospital sales agreements, providing private contracts. Oof.
And I'm gonna tell you why.
Excuse me, can you move out of my way, please?
Because again, you threatened my life. You understand what I'm saying?
Sir, can you move out of my way, please?
Did you just threaten me? Did you just threaten me back there?
You are literally blocking me.
Did you just?
See, this guy is one of them Kens, right? He's gonna be the police without a gun or a weapon or anything. He's gonna use his bulk and his posterity and his masculinity and keep this guy from going anywhere until the police get there.
Sir,
that's literally kidnapping. In case you guys don't understand this, you can't do that.
False imprisonment.
Yep.
If he tries to move him, then it becomes kidnapping.
Yep.
Pulled a gun on me at the facility.
So I cannot move.
Now he's here at the facility where I'm trying to pick up again. You know what I'm saying? The motherfucker kick his ass because the motherfucker just threatened. Deal with your ass right here.
Police is on the way, right?
What I'm scared about is your punk ass running, getting your gun again, and pulling a gun on me again. After you.
So you're scared, but you're gonna get up in this man's face. No, you ain't scared then. You have a fear of something that might happen, and that proves that you're a coward.
You just told me I need to worry about my life.
Yeah.
This is a man, I don't care how big you is, you get in my face like that, I'm jacking you. I don't care if I get beat or not, I'm jacking you. It's going to end. I don't live my life in fear.
You said you're going to put your hand on me, right?
Yeah, I'm going to put my hands on you because you're threatening my life.
That's it. Thank you. That's all we needed to hear.
I'm slim.
Let me step outside then. Show me that. Show me. Let me step outside.
I'm waiting for the police.
You said on the way,
wait
right?
for the police. I'm not going to let you leave.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know that he just testified against himself.
Right.
Oh man, why did things?
This is literally how stupid people are. You cannot. I don't care about your First Amendment right when you want to go around threatening people. Okay, you can't do that. You get in my face like that, like I said, and threaten that you're going to start throwing hands. It ain't going to last long. I'm going to start throwing hands. That's my response. I ain't going to say a word.
I don't fight fair either. I might just fill your face full of pepper.
Fucking right.
It's so long then.
They coming. Believe that.
Wait some.
Don't even try to go nowhere, Slim. The police is coming.
They're here.
Slim, I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you, Slim. You going back to jail.
You're a dumbass.
You going back to jail.
You're a dumb old man.
No, you're a dumb motherfucker. I got this gray hair by being a wise motherfucker.
No. Evidently, you got that gray hair from being fucking lucky. This motherfucker been lucky all of his life. Again, people that are this age still running around talking like that are insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A whole life.
Thank you.
Take this. Yeah, good number to reach me. 0482816. Today when we came to pick up our routes, I was scheduled at 9.
So hang out here for a second.
Okay.
A few moments later.
There he is. There he is.
Why is this so blurry?
Oh boy got to leave and he got arrested.
Is it funny? Is it funny?
Is it funny? I hate seeing people get arrested. So that part's not funny. But it is funny. Again, this is why I say coin thine words or purse thine lips. Learn what you're saying and beware. Because the English language, according to other people and their use, can be twisted on you to strangle you.
There's no really big difference between the two. There's no difference between the men and women. I mean, there is a difference, but it's not such a difference that you think there's not really a big difference between me and Dave over there. I mean, there is a difference, but I don't think it's as much as people are led to believe. Yeah, so you guys are in a relationship? Yeah. And you're a boy, and you're a boy. So would you say that you're gay then?
Yes.
Okay. Were you born a female then? Yes. Okay.
You're not gay.
Yes.
Okay. Were you born a female then? You're gay then? And you're a boy. So would you say that boy, and you're a boy. So would you say that you're gay then?
Yes.
Okay. Were you born a female then? Yes. Okay. All right. I appreciate your time and explaining all that to me.
You're a boy and you're female.
Yeah.
And there's not really that much difference.
There's so much difference that even though she tries to compensate for the difference, it's still obvious that she's female. That's how much of a difference there is. Same thing.
Oh,
with
I
her.
get it now. I get it now. Thanks for explaining it, brother. The insanity,
Crazy to think
folks.
in a different timeline, they would have been in a mental psych ward.
Oh, yeah, most certainly. Shut it.
Yet I don't think we need to lock these people away necessarily, unless they have other, very often, people who have identity crisis, mental health issues, they have a lot of other dangerous and self-harming mental health issues, and those people should maybe be isolated or monitored. But I don't think just being trans alone warrants that, but it does warrant some kind of care. They
Right.
should be receiving therapy. I would assume, and this is just me being ignorant and a layman, that they need to be taught how to love themselves, because that's what that identity crisis seems to spring from, is some kind of self-hatred or loathing, a lack of appreciation for the uniqueness of oneself is what it seems to be.
Yeah,
It also seems like social media indoctrination and school-wide indoctrination.
Well, yeah,
during
and
the
that's
Biden era.
well,
where
yeah,
they
and
were having, but
that's a large part of the coping mechanism. That's why I warn people about this internet. It's largely a coping mechanism. Even for myself, it's a coping mechanism in my inability to get to a library where I could have access to the books.
Physical books.
Right. It's a coping mechanism that expands my knowledge base. So, again, just like anything else, there are positive, negative coping mechanisms. So when we're talking about people like this, that identity issue, again, if we go back to their natural talents and have them use their natural talents as coping mechanisms, even if they're just hobbies, I think it would bring about a large change. I think that's a mechanism that many people are forgetting, is those natural talents. Everybody's is different. And we have to find out what those are. It's the things that we enjoy in life, even if it's just a hobby.
Walking to the store, carrying his gear over his shoulder, perfectly legal where he was. Then this cop rolled up, saying that he wasn't being detained. Though when the man tried to leave, suddenly he was. But the cop wasn't ready for what came next.
Am I free to go or am I being detained? You're not being detained. I just want
Okay, see you later.
Hey, hold on. Come here.
So I am being detained.
Sure, you're being detained.
Okay, I have nothing to say to you.
Do you have some sort of ID?
I'm not required to show you what.
Damn, they always want that ID first, don't they, guys? Figure it out. Figure it out.
Every time.
It's about the identity.
ID?
Why not?
Well, that's the law here in Michigan.
Put the phone down.
No, this is for my safety. I know the law. I know my rights. I'm not legally required to show you my ID.
Okay, when I get called to investigate somebody walking up the street with two
Both legal activities, right?
I know you're not in violation of any law. Listen, man, what's
I'm
No, you said it out loud. That's it. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Yep.
Thanks. Bye. You just said you know I'm in no violation of any law, and yet here you are detaining me. That's non-consensual communication. That's just like
unbelievable.
That's just like you said about the gentleman at the store. What is it? Unlawful detainment. What'd you call it?
False imprisonment.
Yeah.
Plus, it sounds like knowingly and willingly any further pursuit is ultra vires.
Yes.
Yeah, it's also deprivation of rights under color of law. And
yep.
Because you're following me around, you're intimidating me, you're harassing me, but you know I didn't commit a crime. And I've already told you I don't want to have a consensual conversation. And if I'm recording, well, now that's prior restraint.
Yep.
Well, wouldn't that be some of the teachings that we would have to instill in our children so that they wouldn't be deceived by individuals like this? So that identity seems to be very important.
Absolutely.
To identify the bloodline or the group, just like they were in the 13 colonies, how they had each colony by their attributes, you could say.
Yeah, well, and that's what we're talking about. It's all the indoctrination going on generation after generation, and that's what we've got to break. And it's based on the ID. That's based on the foundation of the family. We have to be able to rebuild the family structure back, and that can only be done by a process of identifying through that spiritual nature and your, like you said, the attributes that are attributable to your nature. So we have to start learning how to observe nature more to put things back in balance.
Right. You wouldn't want a brain surgeon with shaky hands.
Right. Oops.
This guy was just walking to the store carrying
somebody walking up the street with two.
Both legal activities, right?
I know you're not in violation of any law. Listen, man, what's your problem? I just need to see your ID real quick.
My problem.
Listen, man, what's your problem? No, I'm not the one with the problem. The one with the problem is the one that called in the call. And then you're responding to the call. So you go talk to him. He's the one with the problem.
Give him the benefit of the doubt too, like that he's being genuine. This is his attitude. It's like, I know you didn't break the law, but come on, man, why aren't you just complying anyway?
Yeah.
Why don't you just let me illegally get your ID real quick and you be on your way? You know that you be on your way. You know it. Why are you doing this? Like, why are you standing up for yourself?
Your manhood.
Yeah, why are you standing up for yourself? Why are you standing up for being your man? Yeah.
Is that I'm doing nothing illegal.
Get the camera out of my face.
I'm gonna
Put
turn
the camera down.
No, it's my First Amendment right to videotape, and this is for my safety.
It says in the First Amendment that you're allowed to videotape me.
Yes, I'm standing up for my rights. If I'm
Okay, understand the First Amendment, okay? And I've expressed it many times that not only do I have the right to express myself through freedom of speech or others, independently, that's a great right. But exponentially, everybody else that has the right to know the information that I'm putting out is a greater right. And it all stems from an observance, first and foremost. The observance is the true right. We have the right to observe anything. And in order to be able to then freely express it, we have the right to record it in any media. So there's a process in that First Amendment. And as it goes with technology, it includes the very first step, which is observance. and then the convenience of any technology in which to record it, and then the convenience of any technology to then express it.
Cooperative means that I'm standing up for my rights. Then very well.
You're all set.
Thank you, sir.
You don't want to give us your ID?
I
You're
don't.
fine to go. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You don't want to give us your ID? You're fine to go. Have a good day. Absolutely.
Who asked for a supervisor? Think
Yeah,
about what it takes to get your rights adhered to. It all. You have to know them first of all, which is not, because they'll lie to you straight to your face.
Oh yeah.
If you don't know them, they'll try to trick you. If they can tell that you know, they'll still try to trick you and lie to you. And then you gotta call somebody else who has extra letters on his name to drive out to wherever it's happening, just to have the law follow. That's the process.
Yep.
I would say that's because that's not a government. A true government is equitable. And when you have to coerce a party or alleged government, that's just a criminal. Because equitable government, like I've seen videos where they've came into a house and it was the wrong house. They had a warrant, but it was the wrong house. And they never make that party whole. That sounds like and you have to sue the government in order for their trespass upon you, which was an accident. That's something that it only has to be done to a criminal. Criminals are the only ones that have to be forced to do an action. But that sounds like that's government all the time.
Yep. And that's why I say it's all a false patriarch, and we've got to learn how to detach ourselves from it.
This man stood quietly with a camera, exercising his constitutional rights, but that was enough to trigger a full-scale meltdown.
Are you a First Amendment auditor?
What? First
An individual who is a stylized journalist who records police interactions. Is that what you do?
Absolutely, it is. Yeah.
Excellent. Can I have a first name or a name to call you?
No.
Okay. I personally like to watch those videos because as a 27-year.
And so he's hamming it up for the video. See, he wants attention too.
Veteran of policing. You have not told you to stop. I've not asked you to identify yourself. Done none of those things.
Yeah. Although I did ask you something to remove your hands from your back.
First Amendment Protection Agency, by the way, that's his name.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And if you got any links or anything to these guys, feel free to let me know and we'll drop them.
Oh yeah, sure.
And I put them back because I can.
Right. That's a great attitude to have.
Just like you don't have to give me an ID. I like to watch those videos because I like to see where people make a.
See, they admit it. Just like you don't have to give me an ID. When it's convenient, they'll tell you, they'll run their mouth.
Yep.
And that's what he's doing now. He's running his mouth. His ego's got him. He's in that narcissistic mode, thinks that anything he says will just be overheard.
I'll do this too when I know I have the upper hand. I can tell if they make an admission and they have the correct demeanor that I know that I'm, they're just bluffing, then I will engage in conversation in order to get them to incriminate themselves the same way they do to us.
Yep. Absolutely. Tit for tat.
Because, like I said, 27 years of policing. I wouldn't do it if it was hard. So you're just going to wander around, make the citizens nervous, and video me so that I can do mistakes.
I wouldn't do it if it was hard.
Well, isn't that's awesome, isn't it?
Indicating his laziness and how easy the job really is, because all they got to do is threaten, coerce, and use force, and people just got to do what they got to say. And
Is that an attribute of good faith actions?
Absolutely not.
And this is a smart cop.
Exactly.
Right? So this is one of the ones.
They're manipulators.
Well, he probably would have been denied access to some law enforcement agencies around the country because his IQ is too high. It's not that high.
What he meant by said it's not hard, it's easy. Because it's easy to manipulate people that are unknowing they're being manipulated.
Yep.
he's also saying it's well beneath his capacity, right?
Yep.
So he has an easy job. It's easy for him.
Exactly.
He's the weed in the garden that needs to be plucked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stakes. Hey, thanks. I'm glad to hear that you're smart enough to know that phones are legal in 2025.
Hey, my hands are out for citizen safety.
Hey, good.
This man stood quietly with a camera, exercising.
Hey, my hands are out for citizen safety.
He watches a lot of videos.
Yeah, that's that
You know that context, man.
Yeah, that's that narcissistic part coming out. You know, gotta have that last word and everything.
Is that his name?
Get out. Yeah, Bonus is my Bonus is my name. Get out. Get the fuck out of here, you loser. Get out of here, man.
See, and this is the back the blue type stuff. The people that back the blue because they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand the Constitution or anything, and yet they think they do, and they think they have certain protections, and that you can't record them unless they consent. Da 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 da, and therefore they're going to start bullying you, just like the police get away with it. So now they're going to take on the capacity of police. I urge everybody to read Hitler's Willing Executioners. Hitler's Willing Executioners. It will tell you about the police state and how it comes to the way we are in America today. It's already happened, folks, and it's happening again right before your eyes.
It's an actual book.
You're a loser.
Go.
You're actually a fucking
Sure
loser.
thing.
You're actually a loser.
Yeah.
I swear to my mom, you're a fucking loser.
Like, why are you coming disturbing the peace here?
Nobody's disturbing the peace. You came out to me.
Yeah, because
you
I
drove
see
up
the
to
camera.
me.
My neighbor sees the camera. The other
Look.
guy sees the camera.
And these guys,
you're right there.
I know, and I already told them what the fuck I was doing here.
So then
Same
where's
as
your
you.
paper?
Don't need a paper.
You can't just record people.
Yes, you can.
No,
you can
can't.
walk.
Come record this.
can't.
You want to record this?
You can't.
So
No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. See the insane behavior, and they have nothing to back it up except their belief, their feelers, their emotions. No knowledge foundation whatsoever. It's sickening. These are men.
You sure?
Stand it up.
Sorta.
I don't consent. I can fucking sue you. What's your name?
Yeah,
What's your name? I'm dead ass serious. I'll call my lawyer.
I'm dead ass
Call
serious.
my lawyer.
I'll
He doesn't
call
have a
my lawyer
lawyer.
right now. Yep.
Dude does not have a lawyer.
That's what tells you right now, even if he does have a lawyer, that's what tells you right now that he's incompetent. He doesn't know the law. Because I don't need a fucking lawyer.
Yeah, really. Could fill that paperwork out myself. 20 minutes at the right place.
Absolutely.
Hey, call the lawyer. Call the lawyer.
Hey, brother G, so that book that you said, Hitler's Willing Executioners, do you know the author of that book?
That is. Let me get it. That is Daniel Jonah Goldhagen. Daniel Jonah, Jonah Goldhagen.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Yep.
You, brother.
If you put hands on me and you start fucking trying to intimidate. No, you walked right into me, bro.
You touched me. No, you're the one that walked out of the building. He was out at the street, for crying out loud. You walked out of the building and you're still in his face. Don't accuse him of touching you. You touched him. This is clear. This is why, I had an ex-wife, got in an argument with her one time. Started out in the living room. Said, listen, I need to calm down, so I'm going to go out to the kitchen and make dinner. Please leave me alone. Went out to the kitchen, and no sooner had I got to the kitchen, she comes following behind me, run, wanting to continue the argument. I said, okay, listen, you make dinner. I'm going out to the garage to calm down. You need to leave me alone. And so I went out to the garage. Well, she comes out to the garage. So I go outside and say, listen, if you don't leave me alone, I'm going to leave. So what she do? She steps in front of me, between me and the car. And so I slammed my pop down and told her to get the fuck out of my face at the top of my voice. Well, she comes back with a protection order saying that she's got 5 neighbors as witnesses that will say that I got in her face. So I had to destroy her protection order by asking her a simple question. Did the argument start outside or in the house? Because when I ask that question, then I'm going to ask your witnesses if they saw where the argument started and if they were privy to the information of how it progressed along the way until they saw the finality of it when I finally screamed at the top of my voice and told her to get the fuck out of my face. Not because I was in hers. So the reality of situations are plain and clear if you know how to present them. Because most people will present their side through insanity and emotions. Stop it.
You remember how they used to solve the problems in the old shows, right? In the old westerns and everything. When somebody slandered one's character, they'd go out in the street, wouldn't they?
Yeah. And in situations
What
like
happened to that with public service and these liars?
and in situations
Of course it does.
and in situations like this, you can't profess that you're afraid of somebody and that they're touching you if you're the one that's aggressing. If you're the one that won't leave it go.
You can't even count on a judge in your local municipality to understand these basic concepts either.
Oh no, they're not in it for that. They're in it for their paycheck. I assure you, brother. That's why they don't allow, that's why they don't allow me in the courts anymore. Not only just because of the identification, but because I know how the court registry investment system works and it lines their pockets.
So, with that being said, that just sparked something. It would seem that the whole shit show is a criminal organization. Now, what family bloodlines controlling that organization?
I don't know, and I don't care. All I know
Me
is
either.
it's got so many people trapped up in it, and if they knew the difference, it would literally almost fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. So let's look at this one. This is about a parking spot, and I wish the guy would have just waited, and we'd have gotten a different result out of this. But he ended up just backing out and leaving. But this is the insanity still. So this is what we're looking at, the insanity.
We're trying to get into the parking spot, and this lady right here blocking the parking spot, acting like a vehicle. Look at her.
People are trying to hit me in the parking lot. Okay, that's the premise.
This is why white women shouldn't be allowed outdoors.
Right. Well, it's not white women. It's just anybody that wants to say stupid shit. So let me point something out here. So if you're really after the parking spot and you scream out, somebody's trying to hit me in the parking lot, what's the difference? See, you're stating a false premise, accusing somebody of trying to hit you, when the true premise is that you're trying to use your body as a blocking arcade or parkade for a parking spot, and you have no right to do so. Mama didn't teach you to not play in the street. Listen, if you're in front of me and you refuse to move, yeah, I'm going to start pushing forward. I'm going to inch forward slowly but surely. I don't care if you're in front or not. And I'm going to slowly inch forward. And that's all it's going to take. You can call the cops all you want. But it is a violation of my freedom of movement to stand in front of my motor vehicle and prevent me from parking. Enough said.
And she's claiming that we're trying to hit her.
You are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
She's not a vehicle. She can't do that.
She was saving it for me.
You're not.
Oh, so you're privileged and she was saving it for you. So it wasn't the fact that he was trying to hit her. It was the fact that she was saving it for you, which is not the way we do things, is it, folks?
Here, though.
Okay, I'm here.
Look at her. Look, she wants to go viral.
Okay, call the police.
Yeah, call them.
will.
Okay.
You want me to
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
My dad's a police officer.
Fair.
Yeah, my dad's a police officer. I could almost told you that when she pulled out that phone and started doing her little picture taking stuff. Oh, I'm going to get
all of this over a parking spot.
Yeah, that's the lunacy. That's the insanity over a parking spot.
Isn't that a similar situation, Keith? I think years ago, probably maybe 10, 15 years ago, one of the big chief of police up in Pennsylvania, their daughter did something in the city to some gay people and then and took pictures and had their father send them tickets and shit in the mail.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, that happened. His name was he was one of the chiefs of police right there in one of them counties that I was messing around with up there. Chief, not, but something else. But he was a racist. Obviously, he was a racist individual.
Yeah, they're all crazy. They're all insane. They all have their own emotions and popularity contests that they're involved in.
Go ahead. She's claiming that I want to hit her. You know.
My mom has bad knees and
It's
is about to
okay.
get surgery.
It's okay. Yeah, but she can't do that.
I can too.
And
I
she
can stand anywhere
and she's saying that I wanted to hit her. You know.
Could you please
That's not fair.
have one of your police officer friends
Yeah,
come
please.
to the parking lot by Bloomingdale's, please?
Please.
I'm standing in a parking lot.
Yeah.
The man just tried to hit me with his car.
No, that's not true.
I'm
We
in
have
the freaking
we have a
parking
dash
lot.
cam. We have a dash
She
cam.
turned it on
No,
after.
it's on.
It's on
You know?
right now. Oh, like let me
No,
record it.
no.
He tried to hit me.
No, no one tried to hit you.
You're Brandon. I'm standing
You're
right
blocking.
here.
You're blocking the parking lot.
I can stand anywhere I want in a
Why are you
public
screaming?
parking lot.
No, you
No,
can't.
you can't.
This lady's insane, buddy.
Because you are. I can
No.
sit. Just move your freaking car.
No.
We're not moving. We'll be here all day. I swear to God, my
Look,
son.
look. We're gonna move it. Yeah, we're gonna move.
See, he gave up and moved. So this is technically like a win for the Karen, and it sucks. Because like I said, I'd have just slowly inched forward. Wouldn't have hurt her one bit. And I don't care if you lay down on the ground. I'll keep moving forward. You will move. I guarantee you, your instincts will take over and you will move. Ask me.
What if the gentleman behind the wheel of that motor vehicle felt threatened for his life at that time when she reached for that phone? He was thinking about that justifiable homicide and just floored it. It wouldn't be funny, but at some point, these people do have to realize life is not a game. It's very serious.
Well, and that's the
I to the left.
That's the epitome of it. They all treat it like it's some kind of game. Like I pointed out with the first one, these kids playing video games thinking that there aren't any real consequences. What do you think this lady is? She's gone through her life thinking there's no consequences. You run across a guy like me, you're going to find out there are consequences. There are natural consequences that intervene between you and the law that you're trying to have support and protect you in your insanity. The natural law will take over. I will be a mechanism. Yeah, the natural
consequence.
Yeah, and the natural law will take over. You will
It's
have
authentic.
and I will be that authentic natural cause to those consequences.
She's used to getting the consequence in her favor.
Has a higher oath
Not
with the
just
Most
lack
High.
of negative consequences, but she's used to getting her way, right? Like she cries out for help. Look what this man is doing to me, and everybody stops what they're doing and comes to her aid.
Yeah,
like this has worked before.
Yeah, silver spoon-fed wolf crier.
Move it, but you're gonna go viral though, because you don't even know what we got. Yeah, you're going viral. You're the next Karen. You're going viral. No, you are. Look, we're gonna move. We're moving. The next.
See, and so the Karens are going to post videos of people they call Karens. You see the projection? They project their own insanity on other people. And I guarantee you, with all this video and this other gal over there, they're making this video. They're going to post it on their site and call these people Karens, and call it a win for them because they moved. They moved
Male
them out of.
Karen tries to steal parking spot.
So who
Yeah.
assists them in these public platforms by allowing such behaviors in broadcasting? It seems to me like it would be a terms of service violation because the services that are being rendered out here aren't in good faith on this public platform.
No, it's not the services, it's the people. And that's why I'm pointing
Well,
it
that's
out.
what, yeah, the
Again,
people. Yeah.
again, if we as people don't take our responsibilities as parents, we're going to end up with grandparents and great grandparents acting just like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was getting
Karen.
at because we're basically funding every bit of it.
Posthumously, yeah. But that's
We
a
give them
different.
a microphone
We
in a
also live
checkbook
like
and say
this.
they have some sort of leadership skills when obviously, look, they're absent in that department. So why were they ever even given any license to teach anything and broadcast anything?
Yeah,
She
I
wouldn't
agree.
pull this in the 80s, though.
No,
No,
not at
Because
all.
someone would just run her over or get out of the car and drag her by the hair out of the way. And then, like,
and that's
the
when I
state wouldn't
believe is
come
when they
after that
really dug
person
in the 80s.
because they'd be enforcing good behavior, right? Like, because she's the problem. But now the system is the opposite. You're powerless against people like this. And that's why I would have just kept driving. I would like the initial audacity of what she was doing would have hit me first, just like any other person. But then I just would have tilted my head like a puppy dog, thought about it for 8 seconds, imagined all of this that we're witnessing right now happening, and then been like, "Nah, I'm just gonna go somewhere else. I'm good."
Yeah,
But I
picking.
mean, their actions are obviously a detriment to themselves and to others. I mean, everybody can
True.
see that in here. I don't understand why people aren't outraged with these types of. I mean, those attributes are real easy to spot once you got that eye.
Yeah, and I understand that picking your battles too. You know,
Mhm.
I'm not saying that I'm specifically looking for instances like this, but I'm telling you that in certain battles like this one, I would probably just push forward already. I'm already there, pulling into the parking lot or into the parking spot. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna get out of my way. Don't be stupid. This is stupid on your part, not mine.
Where I can admit to capitulation is 40 years ago, I would have too.
Yeah,
Even
and
though
see,
today I would just keep going. 40 years ago, it would have been like, okay, apparently you didn't have a father. I'm going to show you.
yeah, and I think that's the mentality difference because I'm 60 years old. So 40 years ago is when I started driving. So
Going live. Yeah. I'm gonna just do it because I don't want problems, babe. Yeah.
So sad.
it is. It's so sad.
Karen.
It is kind of, yeah.
Going live. Bye, Karen.
Don't get the last word in, dude. Just
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I agree there too. If you're gonna leave, then don't even bother. Just leave.
yeah. If you're gonna get the last word in, get the last word in.
Yeah.
As in, watch her have to go park somewhere else.
Yep. Now, what do you guys think about this one? This one's titled "This Is How It Should Be."
Now, this is 1000% on point. I completely agree. Shout out to her.
I moved over here from Brazil, and I'm pretty much Americanized by now, in case you can't tell. It's been over 25 years.
From Brazil, and she's Americanized, and you could tell she's Americanized in the South.
I'm now a proud American citizen, and I have worked hard to adopt this country as my own and become a valuable part of this community. Let me introduce you to this word, which means to adopt something as one's own and become a part of it, which is what's supposed to be your job as an immigrant. So that means that
Which is supposed to be your job as an immigrant. And I agree.
Truly is.
I agree. That's what even in wars, part of the process is assimilation. This is where we get our current laws for foundlings through the hospitals. It's a process of assimilation into being a United States citizen through the enumeration at birth because of that foundation being part of a whole. So if you want me to assimilate, then I have to be willing to assimilate. My characteristic trait of going from my country to another country to live would be the very communication of wanting to assimilate. People coming to this country and wanting to change the country. No.
That's where they
Just
messed up.
exploit its opportunities and its public services, I think, is more accurate.
Yes. Well, I'm talking about both groups. Those that come to exploit the services and stuff, and those that want to come in and change the laws, such as Sharia law. You know, we have those impositions where people are flooding into communities and having a voting right that then changes certain laws. And this is, of course, because of diversity, equity, inclusion, and various other things. But we have to start nailing this shit down and get right, people.
I can come over here and introduce you to some cool stuff like Guadana and Farofa, but I'm not supposed to be coming over here and be an invasive species. That's not the reason I came. I came here to be one of you.
I like how she put that.
If I thought Brazil was so much better, I would have stayed there. Someone explain to me why I am expected to respect and abide by everyone else's customs, literally everywhere else in the world, everywhere else I go except here. Oh, but some people are fighting political persecution. Okay, well, if your land and your country and your culture and all that's so much better than we are, then you stay there and you figure it out and you fix it. That sounds like a you problem. Basically put, if you're not coming over here to assimilate like me, then
And part of that problem is the United States steps in those situations and involves themselves.
you need to stay right where you are. Period. Full stop.
Now this
absolutely.
I wonder if their involvement is looking for certain attributes to get them to assimilate with their bad faith acts through immigrations as well.
Well, that's.
I mean, see, it's a double-edged sword. No matter which way we go, what avenue we go down.
Well, that's part of it, yeah, and that's again, the indoctrination is all about the education, and it doesn't matter where you come from. The system is going to work the same on your intellect. If you don't know, you don't know.
You forcefully entered her home and attacked her. Is
I
this
saw that video. That thing's crazy.
This say what?
I said I saw that video. That thing's crazy. I would think. I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
if you guys have seen it before.
Yeah, this is this is a guy that evidently broke into a woman's house and attacked her, yet he's a paraplegic in a goddamn wheelchair.
Oh yeah, I saw this one.
Woman called the cops
Oh, thank God.
and accused the guy of
I saw
kicking
this
down her
full
door
video.
and
It's
assaulting
nuts.
her.
So what happened? He kicked in the door. I ran. He choked me out.
But there was a minor problem with her story. The suspect has been a paraplegic in a wheelchair for 20 plus years.
How long have you been in your wheelchair?
I was 18.
Since you were 18?
5 years.
But the arresting officer just didn't care.
This is the sad part. And this is evident because what he does next. This officer didn't care. And neither did his chief, his captain, or whoever. Watch.
And he attempted to arrest him anyways.
I literally can't. I don't have muscle control. I'm not. Oh my God. Oh my God.
When another officer stepped in and questioned what was happening,
If you're paralyzed, somebody must have made a mistake. Because if the door was kicked in, he didn't kick it in.
he went to his lieutenant.
So the one officer was going to arrest him and actually did, and he fell out of his chair. The other officer came along, the good guy, and said, wait a minute, something's wrong. And now he's going to the lieutenant or whoever. What'd you say, brother?
It seems like incompetence and negligence on behalf of the police and their agents.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally across the board.
It's ignorance as practice though, because they're going to talk to a supervisor about it and converse on how absurd what they're about to do is, and then do it anyway. And I just wanted to point out the reason why this dude noticed something was wrong is because he just threw that man out of his chair essentially and then left him on the floor. And so dude was like, why is there a man on the floor? Let me walk over here and see what's going on.
And that's a lawsuit in itself. Right
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They got a quadriplegic guy up there in handcuffs.
who couldn't be bothered to get up off of his chair, but
notice he's in there eating his food and stuff, filling his face.
quickly accused the 100% innocent man who was in fact a paraplegic of lying.
Yeah, but it's phony work. It's a ruse, man.
So-
I mean, it's an obvious attempt to not to go to jail. So
There you have it.
See, the guy didn't even go out and look or anything. Has no firsthand observance. He's getting a secondhand from a firsthand experience that says otherwise. And I have no faith in these people because of this kind of shit.
Yeah.
This goes on regularly. So it's not just the officers that we blame. It's the guys in the back that are issuing, like you said, they communicate with their commanding officers. And it's those commanding officers that are supposed to be training these guys that are acting like this.
They need to eliminate that qualified immunity for these cats.
Thankfully, he ended up not actually being arrested on that warrant. The warrant was
Yeah, Trump went through and did a bunch of executive orders returning constitutional authority over the administrative law judges and shit. They're no longer allowed, particularly after last year when the federal government itself overturned the Chevron doctrine.
But even though also too, the qualified immunity is already breached by the actions because there's a negligence of duty of care there, where you have
I agree.
paraplegic, so you're already breaching it. You don't need to revoke that.
Absolutely.
Qualified immunity.
I think what I meant to say was that they should have never been given that crutch to begin with.
Right. Because they use it to their advantage as much as possible.
eventually dismissed, but only after the story literally ran in the Atlanta TV news market. The crazy lady eventually publicly admits that she's absolutely nuts and she had no contact with this guy. And it's also revealed that the cops, had they even checked this woman's arrest record, should have known that anyways, because she had already been arrested for similar allegations before this event even occurred. These same police officers who knowingly violate an innocent person's civil rights because they want to cover their own ass, or even in the case of the lieutenant, too lazy to even get up from his desk, to stop eating his pretzels and get up from his desk and see what the hell's going on. This sort of thing needs to be shared and they need to be exposed. Again, the only thing that government fears is negative public exposure. Government itself is the bad apple. Remember that.
Absolutely. We have to remember our First Amendment freedom of expression and how powerful it is from our position as we the people. We are not the servants. We have to learn this and comprehend it at the top level. And that means we have to know how the government runs, what operates it, what the laws are, what the distinctions are between the different jurisdictions of laws, all this stuff.
Hey, Keith, I got a question in that. Is there a standard operating procedure on behalf of the police to inspect a complaint? Like for this one, it was a false complaint where they didn't do their due diligence and fiduciary duty to look into the complainant, the lady, which has filed previously false complaints, if
Right,
not the same type of action. And that's
right, and
police negligence.
Right, and that's part of their duty, both at the level of the police and the prosecuting attorney, as you spoke of earlier, as being part of this thing that mechanizes all of this corruption. The prosecuting attorney is required to do what's called a pre-investigation, preliminary investigation, where they're supposed to investigate both the plaintiff and the defendant and their capacities to be sued. In other words, their identities. So again, it goes back to that identity, and people refuse to understand what it's all about.
Yeah, either a grand jury indictment is needed, or the prosecutor is supposed to prove to a judge probable cause.
Yep.
And that requires some pretrial investigation. And, it falls it becomes the burden of the police in the way that the system is now. But that's because the prosecution and the police are the same entity, essentially. There's no investigation into whether or not the police statements are accurate. It's
right.
It's all just representative of the same entity, which is the state.
Right. And if they were done correctly, we'd find out that the police statements aren't accurate in form. They're supposed to be affidavits, handwritten affidavits, not a piece of handwriting witnessing.
The perjury.
Yeah. Handwriting witnessing on a form from your internal administrative operations about the events, but an actual testimony. Because none of those officers will get on the stand and actually testify to the truth. They will only give testimony according to what they wrote in a complaint.
Statement.
Right.
Yep.
Do you understand if you get out of the vehicle, you will be arrested for disobeying a lawful order? So the reason I pulled you over tonight is because your tag lights are out on your license plate, all right?
Tag lights are out?
Yes, sir.
You mind if I check?
Afterwards.
Afterwards? I can't check right now?
Not right now.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Seems to be a maintenance issue. And if I've got the bulbs to fix it right now, I can fix it right now, right in front of you, while you're writing me a warning ticket as a fix-it ticket. Otherwise, this isn't a lawful traffic stop because there's no traffic violation. It's an equipment violation.
Because I'm telling you, you can't.
I'm pretty sure it's my right that I can check if you're saying that my light is out.
I am telling you to stay in the vehicle, which is a lawful order. Because I do not want you out of the vehicle right now.
That's not.
But you're not on a lawful traffic stop. You're only on a vehicle maintenance equipment failure. And under those laws, he is absolutely right. He has the right to check the maintenance because if you're giving him a maintenance thing for a tire and it's dangerous, he needs to get out and make sure that he's not going to be, harming himself. Same thing. It's all safety when it comes to the maintenance of a vehicle. Well, I don't know what the lights have to do over the license plate when it comes to safety, but that's what what jurisdiction they put them in. And though facetious as it is, it's really just so they can identify the plate and read the plate. It still falls under the maintenance laws for a fix-it ticket. So it's not a traffic stop. So there is no violation. So you have no authority, yet you're posing authority. These people are stupid.
That's not a lawful command.
I am telling you to stay in the vehicle now. Do you understand if you get out of the vehicle, you will be arrested for disobeying a lawful order?
What's the lawful order?
All right, do you have your driver's license?
Call your supervisor
Yeah, what's the lawful order? And then she doesn't want to answer.
down here. You saw me take my driver's license out. Call your supervisor down here.
Let me have your...
Call your supervisor down
For
here.
what reason?
I'm requesting a supervisor. It is your policy to get your supervisor out here when a citizen requests a supervisor.
For what reason?
Thank you.
For what reason? Do you understand if you get out of the vehicle, you will be arrested for
For what reason? It doesn't stipulate that there has to be a reason. Look them up.
I would have said for the master telling the public servant.
Yeah,
That
but
would
you
have
get
been my
yourself,
reason.
yeah, but you get yourself in trouble for things like that. You know that. One day, maybe. But today, we're still dealing with egos, and they pull tasers and guns out on you.
13 have the complete right to make their own decisions about their mental health care. Parents don't have a right to have notice. They don't have a right to have consent about that.
Look, if you want to keep losing elections and have the general consensus be that most of you need your hard drives checked, keep messing with our kids, dog. As a father, my most important role in this entire world is to protect my children. Now, you telling me that at 13 years old, I shouldn't know what's going on in my kid's life or have any damn say about it? My guy, y'all are on your way out, and you've done this to yourselves every step of the way. You literally hand Republicans the elections because what you say is so insane. Keep talking though, because it lets us know exactly who we need to weed out of the system. You're doing a great job and we appreciate your service. People who think like you should not be in positions of authority. What's your take on this? Do you agree with me or do you agree with whatever the hell that dude was? Let me know in the comments.
Kids.
What do you guys think? Should kids 13 and over be given the ability to determine their mental health situations and stuff regardless of parents? I mean,
It depends on the circumstances. Let's be clear here. This is whether or not 13-year-olds should be able to change their bodies for the rest of their lives because they feel like they're a different gender on Tuesday. And that's absurd. That's insanity. That's mutilation. That's child abuse. But I could imagine a 13-year-old who is fighting for their independence and who's in a really bad situation with extremely abusive and retarded parents that are beneath him or her, both intellectually and morally. And I'm also struck by the fact that this clip is taken way out of context. Like, is this guy just reading what the law has become, or is he advocating for the thing he's reading or saying?
Yeah, I kind of wonder that too, but the concept still remains, and it's a very plausible concept. And like you mentioned, there are reasons. We saw a video earlier where the young boy and his sister sibling were both speaking truths that obviously mom didn't realize they could see. And so when it comes to people like that, their mental situations are very much in their hands.
Right.
So
And so
these public servants that are supposed to be the good guys, wouldn't it be psychological warfare to use a 13-year-old child and try to manipulate them that they have this power and authority that they don't have?
Well, absolutely, and that's why we're talking about this stuff. See, the people that are in these offices, it's just like that little boy and his sister we were just talking about. And those are the kind of people that we need, but we don't have them. We don't have people like that in the office that says, well, maybe if we quit going on all these trips, who was it, Tiffany Henyard, and spending all the people's money illicitly, Tiffany Henyard, maybe we'd still have a job, Tiffany Henyard. And that's.
Did she ever get indicted?
I have no idea. I don't think it's going to be for a while. It's one of the stickiest situations I've ever seen. I can't believe that the people of Chicago elected her not just for one a township, but for another thing at the same time. And they all agreed that she was doing a good job. And then even though the corruption came out and all the people that were against her, she still has all these amazing amounts of supporters. It's just amazing me. That whole story is just profound.
Are they controlling all that with the algorithms through the intranet, though? It ain't, not everything's always as it seems.
Well, I just don't see. I mean, she's nothing near Kamala Harris.
Mm-mm.
So I don't see how anybody is actually supporting her. I think this is Tiffany Henyard herself.
Right.
But it's systemic throughout the system. If it's not Kamala Harris, it's a Tiffany Henyard.
Wherein they're showing that it's looking like they have all this support, but it's not actually support. It's just showing the power they have to manipulate the numbers through the algorithms in the intranet.
Well, whatever it is, they seem to get some kind of amazing support, even though it's never going to work out for them, as you see. But it still puts the people in a bad position. And that's why I say we have to understand as the people that position and how to improve it ourselves. And the only way we can do that is by stepping up ourselves. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Therefore, the key to it is the knowledge, and that must be there for the benefit. Take advantage of the benefit, and don't believe me. Don't believe the neighbor. Don't believe the government. For crying out loud, don't believe your mother. Do your research so you know.
This guy spends 44 years in prison, and the two women who lied about him show absolutely no remorse.
Back in 1977, Vincent Simmons was just taking a walk through a park when police arrested him out of nowhere. He was taken, along with 6 other men, for a lineup, and tragically, he was the one the girls picked. Turns out, 2 14-year-old white twins, Karen and Sharon Sanders, had claimed that a black man had assaulted them on a remote back road. They said they met a black man at a bar while hanging out with their cousin, Keith Laborde, and offered him a ride. They claimed that after getting into the car, the man pulled a knife, forced them into the trunk, and then attacked them. And despite Simmons having an alibi backed by multiple witnesses, he was still found guilty. In the end, Simmons was sentenced to 100 years in prison with no chance of parole. While locked up, Simmons never stopped fighting to prove his innocence, but every request was denied. It wasn't until 1993, 16 years later, that he finally got copies of the hidden documents. Those files revealed shocking facts. Medical reports showed Sharon Sanders' hymen was intact, and neither of the twins had any bruises or signs of physical assault.
Imagine that. And these two women sit up here and pose that they're still innocent. These are heinous, vile creatures that got lucky in a popularity contest because they were white and their victim was colored.
Real story? The twins lied, trying to cover up inappropriate behavior with their cousin. Finally, in 2022, at 70 years old,
to cover up their inappropriate behavior with a cousin. Imagine that. Probably from Arkansas or something, huh?
Vincent Simmons walked free. No apology, no compensation. Only his lawyer, Justin Bonus, gripping his hand and telling him,
Free, man. You free, brother. You free.
Meanwhile, the people responsible for stealing nearly half a century of his life said,
we still have our anxiety. We still have our depressions.
No, that's your insanity. That's what your anxiety is. It's your insanity. Your willingness to bear false witness, to cover up your own heinous bullshit.
Pissed off they didn't get what they wanted. They're little children, and they don't know how to fucking act.
60-year-old women won't stand up to their responsibility, to their lies, to their destruction of another man's life at their whim.
See, I'm sorry, man. You look at that right there and how detrimental that is and has been for men in this country for a very long time. Think about that one. They've destroyed a lot of people's livelihoods and how they provide for their families. So they have literally flipped their worlds upside down with these types of behaviors.
Yeah, and that's why again I'm impressing the importance of the family foundation. Keep your peckers dry and keep your pussies closed.
We still have our fears.
Sometimes, and not just a woman, but anybody, when they play the victim, they go through life and they tell everybody around them how they're a victim, they're a victim, they're a victim. And then everybody around them creates this ecosystem. This guy deserves $10 million more for 44 years of his life. And these two women should go to jail for what they've done. This guy's...
Absolutely agree. What about you guys?
I agree 100%. I think he should. I think the individual should get to decide, to be quite honest with you.
If it was me, yeah, you can spend 40 years in prison, both of you. Just because you got to do it at the end of your life, I don't give a fuck.
But
See,
I think
lucky.
the exposure might be correction enough when the whole world, you're now exposed to the whole world and you brought such disdain to your family,
well, you're
let
lucky.
alone the bloodline.
You're lucky enough that if you do spend the rest of your life in prison, you're already 60. I doubt you'll be able to live to 100. So probably 20 years. You're still only going to serve half the time. You can go to prison.
You know what gets me right now? You know what they do to people in prison that, the ones that they say fuck with little kids and stuff? Well, what about these people that manipulated all of these children to shape and form these young men of tomorrow? What's going to happen? I don't know what these fuckers was thinking.
Well, that's what you're seeing today. That's what you're seeing today. That's why we're doing this. This is the result.
I beg you, people and government of the DPR Korea, for your forgiveness. Please, I have made the worst mistake of my life.
This morning, 21-year-old Otto Warmbier is behind bars in North Korea, sentenced to 15 years in a North Korean prison with hard labor. A visibly shaken Warmbier paraded before cameras, speaking at his trial Wednesday, which only lasted 1 hour.
I was used and manipulated. Please save my life.
In court,
I was used and manipulated. No, you're an adult that went to another country and thought it was okay for your will to destroy somebody else's property. They have different laws. You have to abide by their laws. You have to assimilate to their society. You can't cry and whine that you're an American and that you should be subject to American laws. You broke their laws, not American laws. Quit crying.
I would say also too, that's probably privilege right there, because and ignorance, because I think anyone of sane mind wouldn't go to quote unquote North Korea, and I think he stole something from one of the hotels, and that's what they're charging him with. And that's, I don't understand how someone of a sane mind would go to a communistic country as of North Korea and do such heinous act. Well, not heinous act that they would view as heinous.
Right. Well, and that's, again, it goes to the morality of the individuals as we're raising our children. We have to understand, we have to import our moralities, if they're good morals, into that younger generation. That's what's not happening. And yet,
I mean, when I saw that young man's body language there, I mean, for someone, because I think I remember a little bit about that situation. For someone to be facing such controversy there, I mean, his body language and his whole facial, it didn't seem like he was in such disdain and distress there to me.
Well, imagine getting 15 years. Imagine getting 15 years for ripping a poster off a wall is what I think he did. Let's listen.
Steal a political banner from an area off limits to foreigners at the hotel where he was staying with a tour group. 17 months.
See, he peeled it off the wall and then set it down. I don't think he was stealing it. I think he was drunk and tore it off the wall. And notice he was all by himself. So he has no one to blame when he says he was manipulated.
Months later, Warmbier was carried off a plane on U.S. soil, unable to walk, talk, or respond to verbal commands. Today, just 6 days after that, Warmbier died.
So yeah, he was distressed. He knew the outcome could be deadly for a fucking poster. See, that's what I'm talking about. He knew the consequences before he did it. He understood he was in Korea.
But man, I'll just keep my mouth shut. I got a different opinion, because I mean, what? No matter where you're at in the world, this is God's world.
Yeah,
I mean, for these people to be able to broadcast this and think that this is acceptable teachings, I find to be a little heart wrenching. In a world full of people that were supposed to have faith in this God and these freedoms that America was all founded upon.
Well, yeah, it might be heart wrenching, but you have to understand, it's more stupidity than it is heart wrenching.
But are they using it as a manipulation tool to play on people's heartstrings to hang on to this power and control?
I don't care. The point is, the man was stupid enough to do it to begin with. If he hadn't done it, they wouldn't have any propaganda to push. Okay.
Well, that's true, but so again,
Okay.
who give these guys the microphone and the capabilities to go out and do these things?
I do it myself. A motherfucker comes in my house and starts staring me down. You think I'm not going to video it?
Well, no, you're missing. I think you're
Okay.
missing my point.
Well, what's the point then?
The point is was the boy given the young man given the proper tools to go out in life? Or was he given a set of tools that were manipulative and things of this nature? And then we as society still think it's okay for a country to say cut his head off and put him to death for a simple mistake of taking a poster off the wall.
Listen, if we think as a society that it's not okay to go into another man's home and take a poster off his wall, we think in society that that's not okay. This man knew it was not okay to go anywhere and take somebody else's poster off the wall. It is his fault. I don't care about the propaganda.
I agree with that part of it.
Okay, so when it comes to the functionality, he's an adult. He knew better. I don't care about the manipulation and shit. I knew better as a young adult. I shouldn't go around lighting people's houses on fire, right? Same thing. There are things that you know better not to do, and you just shouldn't do them.
I think what you're trying to say, does the punishment fit the crime? And in our society over here, it doesn't. But you're going to North Korea, and they hate the United States. And they think it would be crazy in a normal sense just to go into anyone's house, like Keith is saying. Better yet, to go to someone's house that's North Korean and do that action of a trespass and rip a poster off. He should have known better in the beginning.
Yeah, people around the world know that it's stupid to begin with. They should also know that when you go to communist countries like North Korea and do it, they will propagandize it. They will show the world they do have power to take your fucking life. Don't come over here and fuck around. That's their only propaganda. They're not a nuclear power that can do much. So they use all the propaganda and fierce tactics on the ground. So if you're going to go visit their country, you better listen to what their laws say. And if you don't know them, don't go.
Well, I would agree with that.
Biker was just trying to pass through the border from Mexico when he got questioned by Border Patrol, and this is what happened.
I don't know where you live. Huh? I don't know where you live. Well, you asked where I'm going, then I said home. Where are you going, sir? National City, home. You take your mask and your helmet off so I can see you. And what are you bringing from Mexico? Nothing. You cross the border a lot? Yes, sir. Yeah, it's two questions. Where are you going and where are you bringing? So your home could be in Mexico. Could be. I'm going home that way. I don't know that. That's why I asked.
I don't know that. That's why I asked. Dumb question, dumb answer. Because where are you going? And you're coming from one place, going in a direction towards another. And you know, if he says he's going home and he's coming away from the thing you think might be his home, then obviously you're interpreting things way off base.
That's why I clarified. If I was going to Mexico, I'd go that way. No, there's plenty of people that bring drugs or bring bodies over. What's that got to do with going home? I'm explaining.
Yeah, I'm explaining. Okay, cops explain some more how somebody on his way going home into America from Mexico is going to transport drugs and bodies and stuff. Then where are they on this motorcycle? You see, these people are totally stupid. But pay attention to what this guy says. He's going to give you a clue.
That's not explaining it. You said, where am I going? I said, home. I'm coming into the States. There's plenty of people that bring stuff over. Yeah. And then when they get caught and they face prosecution, and then it goes away.
And they face prosecution, and then it goes away. Is he telling you something internal that he knows? Because I didn't know if you got prosecuted, it just goes away. It's never gone away in my case.
Seems like a lot of false police reports then, or some type of error.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe he's making a lot of false reports, and that's why they go away. Yep. So pay attention, folks. These people tell on themselves. If you just use reason and logic to think about what they're saying, they rat themselves out.
Judge Dugan.
He's telling them, look,
Charged with two.
it don't matter what you did or didn't do. What matters is what I say you did. And by the time anybody figures out that it's bullshit, you're going to have been put through the ringer. I'm going to ruin your day, maybe your month, maybe your year, maybe your life in some circumstances. And I'm going to get away with it.
Yeah, and I'm still going to collect my check.
And I'm going to do it again tomorrow.
And get a raise.
Federal counts where she was essentially helping a violent person here illegally to escape the courtroom.
She's being charged with 18 U.S.C. 1505 is obstruction of proceedings before departments, agencies, and committees. And 18 U.S. Code 1071 is concealing a person from arrest. Go along with it considerable jail time and fines, upwards of as many as 5 years for one of the counts that you could be imprisoned.
And let's remember, she got the guy out the back door, and then he was caught pretty much immediately after. On not only a failed attempt, but a very short-lived failed attempt. I mean, the guy had minutes. Judge.
See, this is that immigration problem we were talking about, and why that other video is so important. If you're going to immigrate to this country, you have to assimilate into our system and start abiding by our laws. So if you want to go to Korea and you want to stay there for a while, even in your temporary stay, you still have to assimilate because you are immigrant in capacity. Okay,
especially in Asia, I would think.
Yeah, well, they've given you what's known as temporary asylum. They're a communist country. Temporary asylum in that sense is an amnesty saying, okay, we'll allow you to come in, but you fuck up, guess what? You die. People don't understand that.
It seems that there's a quote-unquote failure in the judiciary function where their interests are aligned with foreign interests of migrants over the interest of domestic citizens, as shown by Dugan here.
Well, yeah, that's...
Especially in that situation, she had, 2-3 victims at the time in court, and she favored a foreign criminal or alleged criminal, right? And his escape from, I guess you could quote, escape from justice.
Well, an immigrant comes to the United States and commits a crime, goes into the court justice system. Guess what? Some of those judges see it as a repeat criminal. So they're going to keep them in the system just like they would anybody else. Just like any dumb American that wants to go out and commit a crime, they're going to do their best to keep them in the system. That's what's going on. Whether you're an immigrant or foreigner or domestic, born on the soil here, it doesn't matter. That's how the system works. Once you enter it, they want to keep you in it. If you're deported, then it goes against their paycheck. So the more product you have, the better your profits. So if they deport the immigrants, which is a product of the court system for them, for their paycheck, then they're enjoying the increase, the flux of increase of criminals. They're enjoying it.
I have a question pertaining to, I guess, the whole situation. Have you come across allegedly that federal judges want a force of armed private security instead of utilizing the U.S. Marshals and the FBI?
I haven't heard that. Have no idea. You'd have
I've
to bring
come across that from news channels. So that's why I say allegedly, because I don't know if it's official.
Well, you'd have
come across it.
Yeah, you'd have to send me the information so I can look at it.
I don't agree with what Donald Trump did here, but this man just cooked this show.
Him tweeting out an AI-created image and the White House official account of him posing as the Pope is disrespectful. It is frankly disgusting, and it is outrageous. And so all of those devout Catholics.
It's one of the best memes I've ever seen. Get over it.
politics. I think you need to ask yourself some questions, and I think you need to ask the White House and Donald Trump some questions, because Trump, Mr. President, it's his holiness, the Pope, not his oiliness, the dope.
And you're a sanctimonious joke. But look, the bigger picture is right here in my pocket, and I will pull it out. This is Rihanna dressed as a pope. Olympics 2024, mocking Jesus Christ's last meal. Over here, camera, over here. Don't run, because Trump only posted a meme.
Don't run.
But these are actual photos, and I don't see that same energy of yours, Anna, when it comes to Hollywood actually mocking God. This is Madonna on a cross as Jesus Christ.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. See, when you point out the blatant truths, they run. It's funny stuff. Funny stuff. I think I got one more left, and then we're done. And this is I got 1, 2, 3.
Men should never hit a woman.
Why not?
Pay attention, ladies.
Never hit a woman. That's just f***ed up.
What? Why?
Why should a man hit a woman?
To protect himself.
Oh man, this is a lot.
What do you mean?
That's a lot.
Why?
That you think a man should hit a woman?
Should a woman hit him? Yes, I do.
I don't think violence is the answer to anything.
No, in protection, he's
Unless it's a woman hitting a man.
Right.
Self-defense. Let's say a woman he shouldn't just go around hitting her just for no reason.
Yeah.
But let's say that should women hit men?
No.
Right. So if a woman should hit a man, shouldn't he smack her back?
No.
No. Guess what her explanation is, guys? That's not fair.
She's not practicing what she's preaching.
Exactly. It's not fair to hit a man that hasn't hit you. When you think it's violence is not the answer, you all of a sudden it's not the answer, but it's fair to hit him. But it's not fair to hit him for him to hit you back. See, this is delusion.
And there's also no difference between men and women at the same time. Boom.
Yeah, there's barely any difference, isn't it? Yeah, I was born a guy, but I'm a girl.
Yes. No, I'm going to say no, only because that'll get you put in jail, fellas. In the current system, I wouldn't.
Why not?
Because she's a girl.
Well, she doesn't know that.
But I just think that's unfair.
So if a woman smack a man, what should he do?
He probably deserved it, to be honest.
Oh, what should he do? If a woman smacks a man, what should he do? See, now it's not a matter of there's no violence isn't it the answer. It's he probably deserved it.
It's righteous. Violence is righteous now.
Right.
It's automatically righteous whenever exercised by a female.
Funny stuff, huh, folks?
Against a male, of course, because you can't go around assaulting other women. That's a crime.
Yeah.
What?
Women, man.
Yeah, you want to play this game? Let's go.
And doesn't she deserve to be smacked back if she
No,
should hit him?
she's a girl. Guys should not hit girls.
But girls
You want to play this game? Let's go. Okay.
should hit guys.
I never said that. No.
But if they do, the guy should smack them back.
No.
Why not?
Because guys shouldn't hit girls.
Why?
Because it's just that's just unfair.
Well, how?
Because girls are tender and
Oh, they're tender when they're tender when they're beating the shit out of you, huh?
And
Yanking on your hair
manipulative.
and sticking their fingers in your cheek and trying to rip your cheek wide open and scratching with their fingernails, trying to gouge your eyeballs out and stuff. Yeah, okay, come on.
She obviously
Beautiful
doesn't watch
creatures should not be
God
hit.
in sports.
But don't they know that before they hit the man that they can't handle it?
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I have no idea. Well, you had a
No,
lot
I'm
to say about it
stupid.
before. Yeah, you had a lot
no,
to say.
I don't know.
So if she smacked him one time, for example, and he smacked her back, wouldn't that send a loud message? You can't be treating me this way. Just stop.
I don't think the guy should ever hit the girl.
I don't think the guy should ever hit the girl. She doesn't care about the consequences and the reward effect of having that violent stop if the man smacks her back, knocks some sense into her, so she doesn't do it again. She doesn't qualify that effect. She just ignores that. I just don't think it's fair.
Really?
Yeah.
Not even to protect himself against it.
No. What does he protect?
What if she's got like a knife? Can he do it then? No.
Yeah, a woman come up to me with a knife, I'm going to take that knife and I'm going to smack the shit out of her.
Yeah, no, with a knife, somebody's getting
Because
hurt.
men should never hit a woman.
What do you mean this way? Just stop.
No.
Yeah, it's that life lesson that we see going on that people don't learn, that they absolutely need. And I am absolutely not afraid to dish it out. My natural instincts tell me to do that. I don't need to stop. Say, wait a minute. Let me go look up the law to make sure I'm not going to get arrested for assault before I smack the shit out of you. I'm just going to smack the shit out of you.
He's a human being just as she is.
Right.
And no one should treat each other that way.
Yeah, violence is never the answer.
Right.
That's what I think.
Have you ever smacked a guy?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Takes this long to think, and watch what she says. These people lie, and they expose themselves through their lies.
She's coming up with an
That's the
excuse.
look
if
of
it's
someone
taking
who's
that
beat
long.
the shit out of her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can
I
tell.
don't think so.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
Because
can
men
tell.
should never hit a woman.
Why not?
Yeah, she's hit. She smacked a dude before, hasn't she?
Yeah, because what she's telling you 100% is that her principles have nothing to do with not hitting a guy. So the likelihood that she hasn't ever is very, very, very low.
Right.
Like, even if you don't believe that she's compensating for the memory she's having of the last time she hit somebody right now in this fucking moment, at the very least, she's saying, I have to think whether or not I've done it because I don't have a principle not to. If someone asks me if I've ever hit a woman before, I immediately know the answer is no.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, that's got to be because of society has caused some public unaccountability within the feminine aspect.
Worse, they're encouraged to abuse us.
Yeah, and they're encouraged through a false patriarch that will protect them and provide welfare for them and their children if it's the husband that's doing the shit. It's literally designed to separate that family for the insanity of the woman and growing children up in a feminist world.
I don't know if you guys have ever come across a quote, but I think it's powerful. A man will sacrifice his happiness for his family, but a woman will sacrifice her family for her happiness.
Oh, yeah.
I could agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know the
This is
stats
a
on that.
200,000
It occurs to me both sexes do both of those things.
Yep.
Well, I'm one of those men that have
with that.
sacrificed my family. So to teach, obviously, to hopefully is a lesson to those children of that solid foundation. So, like I think life is very serious, and it's not a game, and it's been treated as a game for far too long.
Yep. This is a $200,000 lawsuit for rights violations, trying to tell him where to go.
This young guy was just standing outside his house, waiting for a friend to pick him up. But then this cop rolled in strong, got in the kid's face, and started to press him with unlawful questions. But what happened next? Finally got this tyrant fired.
My friend's picking me up. Now what? My friend's picking me up.
now you're lying to me.
My friend's picking me up. I'm waiting for a ride. What's the issue? I'm waiting for a ride.
Walk.
I'm waiting for a ride. What's the issue?
Who's your ride?
My friend.
Who's your friend's
My
name?
friend Zozo. He's
What's
gonna
his
be picking
name?
me up.
What car's he coming? I said go.
That's none of your business. I don't have to answer that.
Yeah?
Nope.
You just lied to me, told me you were waiting for an
I
Uber.
don't have to tell you where I'm going. You're not.
Notice he's discussing things with this guy who he's confronting, and hasn't no crime or anything, no articulable reasonable suspicion for anything, no ability to give lawful orders, yet he's standing there giving lawful orders to people that aren't even involved in this, and we're just standing there with him and told him to walk away.
I knew that's what you were gonna say.
That's tampering with witnesses. Excuse me? I'm standing right here, even if I ain't got a camera. I want to hear what you got to say now, motherfucker.
Wait, that's awesome because that completes the pattern of them charging you with what they do. Because from that perspective, if you don't listen to what his unlawful order, he's going to charge you with obstruction because it's so vague he can get away with it. But in reality, he's the one obstructing justice by literally interfering with the public's right to witness, observe, and investigate what's happening.
Correct. That's why I try to import to people how important it is, if you understand your First Amendment rights, how to do it accurately. I don't need a camera. I'll be damned if I won't use that the cop's words against him.
Right.
Give me a camera though, and there ain't no doubt about it.
You lied to me. You're not my father. I don't have to tell you where I'm going. Yeah. I don't have to tell you where I'm going.
You don't have to tell me, but you lied to me.
I don't
so
have
guess
to tell
what?
you
I'm
where
gonna wait
going.
here for your Uber to come.
No, you're not.
Are you getting in my face, man?
He's harassing me.
I am harassing.
He's harassing. What's your?
Are you getting in my face, man? As he's the one that walked up to this young man in the camera.
Psycho.
Again. Yeah. You can't sit there and say you're afraid of somebody when you're the one that walked up on him. You can't sit there and say that somebody got in your face when you walked up on him. Okay? So when the cocksucker whips out his fucking gun and shoots you for getting in his face, you know, that's on you. Cops are not immune to insanity either. Go ahead.
It's gaslighting when they tell you that people like this just need more training or need to learn more education. This person is a psycho. He has emotional and mental issues. He's not qualified to be given a monopoly on force.
Correct.
He can't
Who is the
handle it
judges?
emotionally.
Who's the judges that continue to let this type of behavior run through that circuit?
Yep. They work.
They're the ones who are actually responsible.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the Supreme Court in this country for at least the last 70, if not 100 years, has been carving out a constitutionally legal police state simply by, ruling against the Constitution repeatedly, creating false law with their rulings and creating the environment where the police are allowed to get away with this. And what's interesting about it is if you read the complete rulings, there's been a deliberate push up against the possible theoretical limits of the Constitution, right? Like, if we were to read it as unfavorably as possible for the people and for freedom, what could we possibly twist it to in our wildest imagination? And that's how the Supreme Court's been ruling for the last several decades.
But I think the Constitution, in my opinion, is very easy
young guy
to
was just-
understand. It's a contracted, outmixed benefit system. Your word is your bond.
Yeah, but I can fudge the
Well,
details.
I wouldn't say it's unfavored rulings. It's just rulings that are towards the public capacity. And most people are not operating in a public capacity, but private capacity, in which the police officers don't know that, and they do unlawful conversions of those capacities. Because all those rulings that you're talking about, that's all for public capacity operations.
Look at Terry v. Ohio, for example. That is a judge trying to manipulate every single word of the Fourth Amendment in order to make it okay for that cop to get away with what he did. See, the unconstitutional illegal acts of the cop occurs first. Then it gets to the judge who's going to side with the cops no matter what, because he himself is a pig and endorses the police state. Now he's going to be the author of the police state. And so now he has to read the words, which clearly tell
Let me ask
him
a question. Are you enforcing statutes?
what.
In that specific circumstance, are we applying statutes
To what?
to the incident?
I mean, it's beyond that point because the statute is why the person's being stopped to begin with for a traffic violation.
So then we're moving upon the principle that that man is operating in a public capacity, performing
Which
functions
man?
of public. Who's ever being accused, the defendant, in that case that you're
If
specifying?
driving in your car from one place to another is a public capacity, then sure.
So if you said driving, so then now you're operating as an employee doctrine or master servant doctrine, and whatever the master
Now you're trading each other's time.
Yeah, well, and you're getting into the semantics of the word without listening to the context of the thing here. We're not going to worry about whether it's statutory. He's talking about the constitutional elements that they're violating, and they're supporting each other in those violations. It doesn't matter by what code. It doesn't matter by what code.
That's what I initially said. That's why I said the private capacity, and they're doing an unlawful conversion into the public capacity, which the public capacity would be performing the functions of public office, right? As a trade or business.
Right.
And
And that's
the issue is that we're misclassifying and misapplying laws to private capacity man.
right. And that's that First Amendment violation I always speak of, freedom of association. They're automatically associating everybody as if though they're a state employee because everybody has a state ID or a driver's license.
Gaining consensus through the regulation of commercial and governmental activities is definitely a tactic that the government uses. But at the point of these rulings, we're well beyond this consideration. This is all about prying into the private lives of individuals, and they will misinterpret, find any word they can in the Constitution and deliberately misinterpret it in order to bend it around what the cop already did. Right? That's the point. Like, the incident has already occurred, so we already have the facts, the circumstances, etc. Now it's the judge's job to bend the law around that to create a shield of immunity around that, and that's how it becomes. That's how they move what's legal for the police to do over the course of a few decades. And now that we have a legalized, constitutionalized police state.
Yep. Hitler's willing executioners.
No, you're not. Are you getting in my face? He's harassing me. Yeah, I am harassing. He's harassing. What's your name? Right there. You got it? Yep, I got it. Hands up. Hands up. What's up, bro? Hands up. Really, bro? Get down. I ain't got no on me, bro. Get down. I ain't got no on me, bro.
Wow, he pulled his
Really,
gun
bro?
out.
Look, this is my house. I'm right in
This
front of
guy's
my
a
house.
terrorist.
He pulled up on me on bullshit. Look.
Fired. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Charged with the crime, though? See, this is the problem.
Yeah.
And then
I agree.
And then not given immunity when charged with that crime and free defense from the state that is the violator to begin with.
Yep. Total agreement. Needs to be some further education, better training, and some absolute consequences and punishments in many cases.
There's there was a cop that was in a situation, a life-threatening situation, or some kind of exacerbated emergency situation, and an innocent person, I think it was the person who made the call for help to begin with, came up to them abruptly, startled the cop. The cop shot that person.
Yeah.
She died. And due to that, I looked up the laws regarding just taking your gun out in that state. And in many states, it's illegal. That cop just taking his gun out is a crime.
Yep.
Even if he's a cop.
It's a force of threat.
Aggravated assault.
Yep.
I had a weapon. I told you I do. I also told you that I am legally able to carry a weapon in an open carry state. Where is not?
Where is the weapon on your person?
The weapon is in my waistband.
Don't reach for anything, sir. I don't want any quick. I don't want any quick.
I do apologize.
Please
sir.
don't do any quick moments. I'd hate to have this go another direction.
That I agree with. That I agree with.
You can understand some concern there.
But other than that, I don't see what this harassment is about.
It's about you're a man on an island wondering why we're asking for a man on an island. We're looking for a man on an island.
There's that damn ambiguous description again, man. We're looking for a
50%
man.
of the people, roughly
Yeah, we're looking.
speaking.
Yeah, we're looking for a man on an island, and there's a bunch of islands because they're at a parking lot. Funny
Listen,
stuff.
we're trying to make this a different scenario. You're the only man in this area. Forget the color. You're the
one man.
You know, aside from me, the other one standing next to you.
Say what?
Aside from me and the other guy standing next to you.
Yep.
You've identified yourself as having a weapon on your person.
Done speaking with him. Sir, you are the senior. I'm going to call someone else here to come on in.
You're not making any decisions. Please.
Watch this. This guy's a federal officer, and notice he's got this thing hanging around his neck. Yeah. And notice how the officer over here has got a similar thing, but it's got a badge on it. Watch what he does next.
You could have just complied with him.
Listen, gentlemen, I'm in the middle of something now.
Yeah, okay.
And you
see what he just pulled out?
Right. And you're fucking with my shit right now.
Now watch what happens. These cops literally go to the go-to. Watch this.
Are doing above and beyond you and you. I want your names and I want your badge number.
Sir, you can get that on Amazon for free. You're gonna add it.
Wow.
Sir, you can get that on Amazon for $3. Wow, he's wearing one.
A ton of more charges. Impersonating an officer.
You can get one of these for please.
See? He's wearing one himself.
Fucking clown.
Stop.
We're gonna add a lot more charges to this.
Can you?
This is almost like a Monty Python sketch. That's like the police have become that much of a caricature of themselves.
Well, yeah, it's worse than the Keystone Cops now.
Yes, man.
Officer Johnson. Okay, sir. Thank you. You're.
That's kind of what you're seeing right now with the federal system and the judiciary, if you think about it. And with Dugan, except this is on the street.
Well, evidently there's something that tells that officer that this is a real badge, because he read that badge and he exited the conversation real quick.
Changed his
Come on, please. Sir, have a great day. I apologize if I'm broken your operation. Yeah. What the hell's going on? We're gonna go. We gotta go. What the hell's going on?
We're gonna go. We gotta go. What the hell's going on? You were harassing a federal officer with no reasonable, articulable suspicion, and he was going to get you fired. All right, I got one more to go, guys. One more. We're on our last one. Pay attention.
Imagine if we lived in a world where the citizen had that kind of power over the police.
Yep.
You know, the one they say we do live in.
Well, yeah, you know, the state where the people are free.
Driving his sons home from a football game in a brand new car he just recently bought, when all of a sudden he gets tailgated by reckless drivers. But those drivers were actually the cops, and they pulled the guy over for no reason and started to press everyone in the car with their unlawful demands. But when the father stands up for his rights, check out what the cops do.
Y'all driving aggressively and right up on my butt, and then you snatching it. Oh, so you think you snatch my ID, right? For what reason?
To identify you, because it's a lawful driving stop.
That idea is so damn important, isn't it, guys? You understanding why? It already convicts you as a criminal of the state because you're doing things that you don't have the authority to do, because you're not actually a public official or agent by contract or oath. You're not able to perform the functions of public office.
Vehicle comes back unregistered.
Not qualified, excuse me, not qualified. You are able to. but you're not qualified.
That's why.
It's a brand new car. I just bought this car. All right.
ID on you, boss man?
No, you ain't taking my son's IDs. You got nothing better else to do. You asking my 16-year-old for he don't have.
I have the right to do that. No, you don't. Well, yeah, you got the right to ask, but he ain't going to give it to you. And knowing that he's 16 and he's in the presence of his father, now you don't.
Yeah. Now you can't even ask. Whoa, a word.
Have ID, and these do my other one in the back seat.
I have the right
They
to
got a
ask
student
everybody
ID.
I have the right to ask everybody.
in the car for their ID.
No, you don't. Again, those are two children in the presence of their father. You can't require them to ID at all because, again, that ID is a state ID stating that they're a resident. And you can't be a resident, a federal, state, or municipal officer or agent whose resident presence is deemed necessary by the board until you're of age of majority.
Where's the safety and concern for the children in the car?
It's not to be ringing here.
You don't run the city.
I don't think
run
they
the
have any
city.
safety concerns. They just use that as an excuse all the time.
Oh, yeah, that's their go-to, the safety concern. And that's that eminent domain for the good of the common person in public.
He has my ID. He snatched my ID out my hand.
All right, cool. Well,
So what else we need?
Hey, just so you know, you have spike strips underneath your tires. So if you try to take off your
Putting spike strips under their tires now. Traffic stops, get the spike strips out. We got to make sure if he gets away, he's going to have flat tires. He ain't going to get too far.
Didn't he just say he bought the car?
Yeah, he just bought the car. It's a brand new car. And this is the mentality. They come upon everybody and automatically assume that they are a criminal and will treat you as a criminal. And that's it. They do not have any respect for you. And watch this.
Spike strips.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
It's simple, man. Here's the deal.
No, I'll show you my registration.
Listen.
Open the glove box.
Yeah, grab the registration. Listen, we'll just give him the ticket and be done with this.
It's no ticket.
I thought it was a new car.
So what did they teach me? What?
Have that respect to police officers.
Well, yeah, but you go down and register it, and before you get the plates, you still got the registration papers.
Respect.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we macho. The gang members are here, so they real hard now, guys.
Yep.
Now we got other gang members coming up.
Gang members?
Yeah. You're a gang.
Stop moving. They gonna feel threatened.
Sir, there's very little you or your family can do to threaten me right now, man.
Sir, there's very little you or your family can do to threaten me right now, man. That's a show of force. Okay? Understand
Look at his face.
Yeah, understand the cockiness of this little fucking punk. Can't be but maybe 26 years old. Tell me this guy. No.
Barney's saying this is staged. I don't think so. That looks like a cop to me.
Yeah.
If this is staged, this is excellent acting.
Yeah, tell me where you're 58 years old and you think it's proper for a 26-year-old tyrant to tell you what you can and can't do.
If it makes you feel any safer.
I feel very safe.
That's good. That's our job, man, to make everybody in the community feel safe. And just check me out. Please don't walk yourself into jail now. We're not trying to take you to jail. But understand this. If these officers want to, they can take you to jail.
This
Sir,
came
your
in the
vehicle
mail
is
though.
not registered.
Something in the system that got screwed up.
Sir, that's not on
But
us.
it's not on us either.
Yes,
The
it is. It's on
dealership
you.
messed up on
It's on you,
something.
sir. It's
No,
okay.
they just
I'm not
mailed me
gonna
my
raise
tag.
But what I
My
would suggest-
fiance can send
Are
me
you
my
gonna keep
tag
talking
right
over
now.
me?
But I'm saying, I got a question. I got a question.
He's trying to explain something to you.
Come over here.
Okay? All right.
The next step is putting you in handcuffs and taking you to jail.
Put him in handcuffs.
This father was.
See, and they talk about us respecting them, and they show us no respect.
Oh yeah, the federal agent video absolutely could have been faked. It looked like it was edited too.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
But-
fine. I'm
But
just bringing.
that doesn't surprise me at all. But this one, if you had told me this last one was fake, that would have screwed with my perception of reality. I would have demanded some evidence.
Yeah, and understand a lot of the videos that we will review might be fakes, but what we're doing here is going over the insanity and the context. The context of the one that you're speaking of that might have been fake. The great context is that it's not it's not an impossibility that a cop comes up against a federal officer and treats him like a dick, right?
And I've seen that before too in Miami.
Yeah, and
where he'd grab the badge though and be like, "You can get this at Amazon." That's when it started, you know.
Right.
Well, I seen another one where they had a black, I think he was a CIA officer, if not FBI, down in Miami, and they did the same operation to him, and they were
So that one wasn't staged, but it was just a rumor that he was a federal agent. He was just a regular dude trying not to be harassed.
Right. Yeah, I know what one you're talking about there. And we have to understand, again, in the context of this stuff, I would never even pose as a police officer to try to show some authority. Because in my view, they're the ones that don't have authority. If you understand the way the law is written, they can only enforce what is written. And according to what is written, even in their policies, there are certain processes that they have to follow that they don't. The very first part of that process, even when you get to court, is that the identification must be absolute. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
They're using that state ID that everybody subjects themselves to and tells me that they don't know themselves. That's that identity problem. So even in the transgender and gay and all this other stuff and the identity problems they have, the majority of the population still has an identity crisis because they're still subjecting themselves to that state IDs. This is something that we should have figured out eons ago. What do you guys think?
I wanted to say they could only enforce what is forfeited, and therefore there's reasonable articulable suspicion in order to determine if there has been a right that has been forfeited by trespass to another.
Where is reasonable articulable suspicion in the Constitution?
Why, that would due process. That's due process.
So your due process is on the side of the road by the guy who's your accuser?
No, what I'm trying to say is you need to have some type of knowledge that whoever you're going to come across to enforce something, that person that you're coming across, they must have forfeited their right by doing injury or damage to another party.
Well, the essence of at the side of the road and maintaining due process would be accurate. If you want equity, you must first come with clean hands. So if you are stopped alongside the road and you know the details of the driver's license and stuff, that officer may still arrest you. Let's not get that wrong. But if you're not qualified in the equity to begin with and you hand him a driver's license, you've already lost equity. You've already subjected yourself as a supposed official or agent of the state by presenting a state ID. Pure and simple.
Is that state ID somewhat like a level of degree from their education system?
No, the state ID is just an implied contract, a minimum contact with the state, saying that you're conducting your affairs on state business as a matter of performing the functions of a public office, either as an official or as an agent.
Yeah, state ID is like an employee ID. Think about it. So when you present it, it's showing that you're on the clock performing functions.
Yep. That's why we, in certain classes that I attend, that we discuss the law and its process and everything, we discuss legal time. See, that's what their contracts are all about. You have to be on the clock. So in their records, they have to prove that even if you have a state ID, that you are in the performance of the functions of public office at the time that you conducted those affairs. If you weren't, then it's an addition or an annex to the performance of the functions of public office that you can still activate pursuant to a fee schedule. It's your right of contract. Pure and simple.
Or they should be presenting payment.
Billable hours.
Domain.
Billable hours. Legal time. Well, what are the billable hours for this citation? If you're
That
getting
would
billed,
be the coming together of whatever the mission was and completing that in good faith.
right, in a commission, we're working together. So if you're getting paid certain billable hours, then I, in the right of contract, since this isn't a contract, this is information of contract. I mean, I see a contract form here, and you want information from me. Equal consideration would say I get the same legal time computation for the billable hours.
Exactly.
Anyway, we're on
Is
the
that
way
where
out.
that master commissioner comes in the counties?
I don't know.
I believe
don't
so.
know.
But anyway,
Yep,
always
last
appreciate
words.
it, my friend.
You bet. You bet. Thanks for coming up. Always appreciate you and your input.
Just wish everybody many blessings. And remember, be the change you wish to see.
Absolutely.
Much love.
Thank you, Russ. How about you guys? Imperious?
Thank you, brothers, sisters out there. Thank you, Keith, for your knowledge throughout this whole journey that I've been following you. And be safe out there, people.
Absolutely.
And be equitable. Be equitable.
Yep. And I'm going to drop a link down here in the chat. There is Dennison. Dennison has a channel if you guys want to go check him out. What do you got on the way out, Dennison?
Yeah, so I go live from time to time and love talking shit about the police and the authorities. So if you guys are into that sort of thing, please feel free to come by. All are welcome, so long as it's respectful.
You bet. And go show him some love and sub up. I appreciate you joining us today. Please feel free to join us anytime, Denizen. I appreciate your knowledge as well. And this isn't the only thing I do either. I'm sure you're aware. So feel free to join panel anytime, brother. In the meantime, you bet. In the meantime, you guys know me. I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. That's to say, I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't respect me. And that part's on you. So may God bless you. In the meantime, hit that like, share, and subscribe. There's a PayPal link down there for anybody who wants to share some love. And we'll see you next time.
What do you want? How do you want? Where's your daddy? What about your mom?
Oh.
Okay.
I swore I put it there with your cigarettes.
I'm sorry, what?
I swore I put it there with your cigarettes.
Oh, I wonder how it got underneath there. Okay, now we read this.
Say what?
We read this and see, is there something I'm missing?
What
About
am
it
I?
not being a good idea?
What am I supposed to do?
Just read it.
So I've been emailing with Mindy Hill, the executive director of Horsepower in Baltic. Don't know what that is. Up to an activity for Rita. Mindy had indicated others from day services were coming to Horsepower and wondered why Rita couldn't be included. I told her that I had been told that it was impossible per LifeScape rules because it wasn't a medical appointment. And due to staffing, that in order for Rita to come to Horsepower, I would have to line up a volunteer to take her, et cetera, et cetera. So now Mindy has been talking to Ben Jacobs and Angela Klosterman, and it seems a new plan idea has been created this summer. They, LifeScape, are going to do 1 or 2 group round sessions, 2 to 3 day services clients. They will take a day camp where they go out, walk, brush, lead, general activities with the horses while on the ground, and then end the day by going out for dinner and ice cream. The cost is $35 an hour. Interesting, huh? Okay.
Is there something wrong with that? I mean, Barb was sending me texts saying to read this. And I said, oh, it sounded good to me. And she's like, did you read this part? And I was like,
well,
she said, take your dunce cap off and read this again.
Volunteer services for $35 an hour.
Hi, Liz. I don't know what I'm missing. Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay. But, yeah. Well, but okay. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't have no clue. Wow. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I didn't think so either. I understood it just like that. But evidently my answer didn't say that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I got that that was kind of a shitty thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Nope, it's sunshiny. Oh, well, my thingy says 86. Yep. Oh, I thought you did a good job. I understood. My answer wasn't good, evidently. Okay. Bye. Hello, Rita. Haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks. I thought I'd better call you. What are you doing? Oh. Oh, that's nice. What'd you go shopping for? Oh, do you use up the other one? But you needed a new one. Oh. Okay. Did you get to pick it out? Yeah. Just brown. It doesn't have anything on it. Yeah. Like you don't have a million of those, I bet. Oh, you don't? I got about 5 or 6 of them. So, and there was some place that you went a couple weeks ago, and I was supposed to ask you about it. Oh, you made jewelry, I think. You made jewelry someplace a couple weeks ago. You went someplace, and I didn't ask. I didn't call at that time to ask you about it. Now you don't remember, do you? Okay, that's all right. I was supposed to call you, like I said, and I didn't. You don't care about what? No. Okay. Don't have to worry about it, though, I guess. Hmm. Him and Barb? Well, I don't know why that wouldn't make a difference with you. And I don't think Barb talks to him much at all. Yeah. Hmm. Maybe there's just something, maybe he wasn't feeling good or something. Yeah. Don't worry about it, I guess. Yeah. How come you haven't called me? You haven't called me in a while. What? Okay, but I thought we were done talking about that. There's nothing else to say, Rita. We don't know what's going on. And like I said, maybe he was just not feeling good or something. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. We don't either. Mita, I don't either. So that's okay. Well, but I said, why haven't you called me? Well, I haven't gotten a message from you for a couple of weeks or anything. I haven't gotten any phone calls from you for a couple of weeks. Did you leave me a message? Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Something must have happened because I didn't get that message. Did you like my jokes? Yeah, I thought they were kind of funny. Is it battery? I don't hear anything. Yeah. I don't think you have that on your phone. I think maybe it's just needs to be charged up. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know either. Guess I shouldn't say anything because I don't know. Okay. Bye bye.
Pharmacy wasn't open.
I'm sorry, what?
Pharmacy wasn't open.
Oh, okay. Thank you.